Basically, at this point, I'm going to be giving an opening statement on behalf of the plaintiff, Imani Ellis, to give you a little overview of what this case is about. So, basically, the evidence will show that this is a case where Imani Ellis, on February 24th, 2018, at around 7 a.m., went to her job as she usually did, as a security guard. And her job was to protect the building on behalf of the landlord. And she went to her job on that day, and at approximately, the evidence will show that approximately 1:30 p.m., as she was doing her rounds, she was on the 5th floor, and the defendant got off the elevator. And as the defendant got off the elevator, the evidence will show that plaintiff was excited. She was actually a fan of the defendant before this incident occurred. She was a fan of the defendant. And she said, "Wow, Cardi B is here," or something to that effect. And then the action happened. The evidence will show that Cardi B misunderstood what happened. The plaintiff was simply excited to see her and made that excited utterance. The evidence will show that the plaintiff had an earpiece on her phone, in her ear. And when she was there in the building, Cardi B, again, mistakenly thought that Imani Ellis was telling people that Cardi B was at the building, but that is not the case. Plaintiff will testify that that is absolutely not the case. Now, Miss Ellis at the time was in uniform. She was working for Allied Security. She had a license to be a security guard from 2014 to 2018. Miss Ellis was hired on behalf of the owner of the building, the landlord. And the landlord has a right to tell people to come in their building or to leave their building. If someone causes a disturbance, the security guard has the right to tell somebody, "Sorry, you gotta leave. And if you don't leave, we're gonna call the police." Yeah, that's their right to do that. The evidence will show that Cardi B was causing a disturbance. She started to yell, she started to curse, she started to really say things that don't make sense in this day and age. I think we all know that in this day and age you don't use these type of language to people. Okay? I'm not going to even say the word. We'll have Imani Ellis tell you what the word is. You'll all hear how hurtful that word was to Imani Ellis. After she stated those words and hurt Imani Ellis, she then took a swing at her and attempted to hit her in the face. The evidence will show that after that, or sometime in between that, the evidence will show that Cardi B spit on the plaintiff, actually spit on her. And that's considered, according to the law, the evidence will show that it's considered an assault and battery in and of itself. There's some law enforcement people that would actually assault someone back if they got spit on. You can't just go around spitting on people. So the evidence will show that the defendant spit on the plaintiff. And then finally, to make it all worse and make it really bad, Cardi B then, in the attack, cut Imani Ellis's left cheek. She cut it with her fingernail. Cardi B is left-handed, and somehow she was able to cut the left cheek with her left hand. Okay? Because of this attack, Imani Ellis went to a Dr. Sher. Dr. Sher is a cosmetic surgeon, or was a cosmetic surgeon. The evidence will show that Miss Imani Ellis went to Dr. Sher to find out what can be done to help her with this cut. And Dr. Sher said you need to wait for at least a year, maybe 2 years, because we want to see if it turns into a scar. You can't just run and do plastic surgery. So it did turn into a scar. And when she waited, and it was also very costly. She couldn't really afford the surgery. And as we all know, in April of 2020, the pandemic started. So another couple of years were lost because plastic surgery is an elective surgery. So she lived with the scar for another couple of years. And in 2021, Dr. Sher died. He passed away. Evidence will show that. In 2022, Imani Ellis went to a different doctor, Brent Mulliken, who you will hear from. Brent Mulliken is a plastic surgeon who is designated as an expert witness in this case, who will testify in his opinion why he believes where the scar came from in his opinion, which he will testify. The evidence will show that he will testify in his expert opinion of being a plastic surgeon, that the scar came from a fingernail. The defendant, in addition to having long fingernails of 2 to 3 inches long on a regular basis, she also has different metal objects that are attached to the fingernails, which make it more dangerous if you're going to touch somebody's face or something. You will hear from Imani Ellis. She will testify today about what happened to her. You will hear from the defendant, and then you will hear from Imani Ellis's grandmother, if we get to that point today, where she will explain a little bit about the changes that happened with Imani Ellis. So in a civil case, it's a little bit different. It's not, the scales of justice have to be tipped just a little bit more than 50%. You don't have to prove 100%. This is not a criminal case, this is a civil case. And as the judge read, one witness, the testimony of one witness alone is sufficient for you to believe that testimony. That's in the jury instruction that were just read to you now. The testimony of a single witness is enough to prove a fact. That's what we just heard now. And you will hear from multiple witnesses. The other thing I wanted to mention before I close is there needs to be some accountability from the defendant. The defendant has taken no accountability for what she has done. There should be some level of respect for security guards. When a security guard approaches somebody and asks them to leave the building, or approaches someone and tries to explain what happened, they should give some type of respect to the security guard and listen to what happened. No matter what, even if, this is not true, even if Imani Ellis told all her friends that Cardi B was in the building, there was no reason to curse at her, spit at her, take a swing at her, and cut her face. All that is unnecessary and uncalled for. So with that, I ask you to keep an open mind, hear all of the evidence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, I want to mention first that you may have seen Cardi doze off. She does not live in Los Angeles. She traveled here for this trial. She's very anxious to see this, to be here. but she got food poisoning on the way out. And so I'm sure all of you can imagine how terrible that is. Do not mistake it for a lack of interest in the case. She's come a long way, and this is a very important proceeding for her, but she is sick, and so I apologize for that. This is the last time, the last opportunity I'll have to speak to you directly until all the evidence is in. This is my chance to tell you what I believe the evidence will be. Now, what I say and what counsel has said today are like promises. We're predicting, we're promising you what we're going to show, and at the end of the trial, and I want you to remember the promises, because at the end of the trial, I'm going to ask you who kept their promises and who didn't. Now, obviously both sides can't tell their side of the story at the same time. That would be chaos. So in our system, the person who filed the lawsuit gets to go first. You've heard many times today that it's very important that you keep an open mind, that you hear both sides of the story before, both sides of the evidence, both sides' documents, before you make a decision or come to any conclusions. The only way to be fair to both sides, that you hear all of the evidence and not just jump to conclusions. Now, this is what we expect the evidence will show. First, Cardi is a loving mother to 3 young children and a devoted daughter and sister in a tight-knit family. She came from a very humble beginning. She is a successful recording artist now, but she was born in poverty in New York City's Washington Heights. She worked very hard to get where she is. In 2015, she joined the cast of a reality show called Love and Hip Hop New York, and from there she all of a sudden got all these followers, and that ended up with her becoming a Grammy award-winning and critically acclaimed recording artist. Now, second, the evidence will show that in late February 2018, Cardi was about 4 months pregnant with her first child, excuse me. It was early in her pregnancy. She came out to Los Angeles for work, basically, related to the NBA event. And she asked a friend, or she asked someone to recommend a gynecologist. She wanted to just check. And so she made an appointment, or an appointment was made for her, to see a gynecologist at a medical building in Beverly Hills. They took special steps to make sure this was private. The appointment was on a Saturday afternoon. The doctor, the gynecologist, had arranged for his staff to leave early. Her normal security person did not join her, because what could happen? She was going into he stayed in the car, she was going into a doctor's office, so what could possibly happen? And what happened was plaintiff. The evidence will show that plaintiff had her phone to her ear when the elevator opened, as Cardi was trying to make her way to her doctor's office. She was a patient. And the plaintiff stated out loud, "Wow, that was Cardi B." Cardi turned around and saw the plaintiff holding up her phone, filming or photographing her. And Cardi said, "Why are you doing that? Why do you think you can photograph me? Just steps away from my doctor's office." And the evidence will show that plaintiff's response was a belligerent "because I can." Now, you will hear evidence that plaintiff continued to follow Cardi as Cardi tried to get to her doctor's office. Evidence that the plaintiff continued to yell at Cardi. That when people from the doctor's office came out and told plaintiffs to stop, saying, "You're a security guard, what are you doing?" that plaintiff continued, and when someone intervened and got between them, plaintiff started taking swings at Cardi B. As Cardi B backed up and backed up, Cardi B was, facing someone, with all respect, who testified and admitted that she was 240, 250 pounds, wearing black military boots, hovering over Cardi, yelling and screaming at her and taking swings at her, trying to get to her beyond the person who was trying to intervene and trying to calm things down. Now, I don't take any pleasure in saying this, but there will be evidence that it was plaintiff who yelled, "I will fuck your shit up." That's when someone intervened and dragged plaintiff to an elevator and said, "You have to leave. You have to leave." You will hear Cardi's testimony that she both feared for her unborn baby. This was her first pregnancy, and a very large woman was advancing towards her, and she was utterly confused that a security guard would be her attacker. Importantly, plaintiff has repeatedly changed her story over the last 7 years. You will hear evidence that, under oath, she stated in what is called discovery, Cardi beat her about the head and body. Under oath, she said that. You will hear evidence that she stated, plaintiff stated, Cardi scratched plaintiff's nose. You will hear evidence that the story then changed, that Cardi instead scratched plaintiff's cheek, and you will hear evidence that plaintiff also said Cardi never touched her. That is the evidence that you will hear. And to put it mildly, we expect you will, the evidence will establish that plaintiff is not telling the truth. Now, there's been this allegation that that Cardi got plaintiff fired. But we expect...
Objection, Your Honor. We'll discuss this issue.
Assisting claims was withdrawn.
I apologize.
The claim was withdrawn.
Oh. Well, that's nice. I didn't know that. So there is no employment claim? Okay. You've been very patient. The case just got smaller, but we still have a lot of evidence to put on, and I thank you for your patience, and thank you for keeping an open mind and waiting until you hear both sides. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, counsel. All right, we're going to begin with the presentation of evidence at this point in time. Does plaintiff have a witness to call?
Yes, Your Honor. Plaintiff calls Imani Ellis to stand as our first witness.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Imani Ellis. Last name is Ellis.
Your first name, please.
Imani, yes, Emani.
Perfect. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch and step.
Plaintiff calls Imani Ellis to stand as our first witness.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Imani Ellis. Last name is Ellis.
Your first name, please.
Imani, yes, Emani.
Perfect. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch and step.
All right, go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Ellis. For the record, how old are you?
32.
And on the date of February 24th, 2018, what were you doing?
I was at work on duty as a security guard.
Where were you?
The address of the building was 8920 Wilshire Boulevard.
And for how long had you been working as a security guard as of 2018?
For 4 years.
And what did it take to become a licensed security guard?
You have to get fingerprinted and it's sent to the state of California for approval.
And do you have any criminal record?
No.
Could you become a security guard if you have a criminal record?
No.
Have you ever assaulted and battered anybody in your lifetime?
No.
Were you using your telephone to take photographs of the defendant when you saw her exit the elevator?
No.
So, if you could just tell us in your own words, when you got to the 5th floor, you were doing your rounds, and you saw Cardi B What did you say?
I said something along the lines of, that looks like Cardi B, or wow, that's Cardi B.
Were you talking to anybody at that time?
No.
You're sure?
Yes.
Were you entering the elevator?
I was, yes.
Did you actually go inside the elevator?
I did, yes.
And did Cardi B exit the elevator?
She did, yes.
Okay, and then what happened?
After she heard me say her name, she turned back around, and the first thing out of her mouth was, excuse my language, was, why the f telling people that you seen me? At this time, I tried to calm her down and assure her that I didn't tell anyone that I seen her, and she was extremely upset.
And what did she tell you after that?
Then, excuse my language again, but she said, yes, the f you did, and then she put her finger in my face.
When she put her finger in your face, did she have long fingernails?
She did.
And approximately how long were her fingernails on the date when she put them in your face?
About 2 to 3 inches long.
When you have seen different pictures and videos of Cardi B, do you notice that she has long fingernails in those videos and photographs?
Yes.
When you saw her today, did you notice that her fingernails were very short?
Yes.
Does she usually wear them that short?
Objection? Leading?
It's also lacks foundation sustained.
Have you seen, well, strike that. For how long, were you a fan of Cardi B before this incident?
I was.
What kind of fan were you?
I enjoyed her music. I was interested in going to a concert. I didn't have any problem with her.
Did you ever go to see her in concert?
I had tickets to go to see her, but I never went after this incident.
And when were you supposed to go see her in concert?
I'm not sure of the date. It was sometime in 2018.
And you're very close with your grandmother, Diane Schmidt, is that correct?
Correct.
How old is your grandmother?
She's 79.
Does she have information about this incident?
Objection.
Assistant.
Lacks foundation.
Assistant.
Did you show your grandmother the scar on your left cheek after February 24th of 2018?
Overruled.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Did you show the cut on your left cheek after February 24th of 2018 to your grandmother, Diane Schmidt?
Yes.
And what year were you born?
1992.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I'm the oldest of 5.
And your grandmother has seen you regularly from birth up to the present time?
Yes.
And what about your mother? Did you live with your mother up until a certain point?
Until the age 19.
Did you sustain any, well, strike that. Let me take you a little bit back to the incident. So, when you were at the building and Cardi B exited the elevator on February 24th, 2018, what were the words that she used that were so hurtful?
She used a lot of words, and again, excuse my language, but she was like, you, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna get you fired. That's why you do security. Ah, that's why you do security. Ah, she was sticking her tongue out. She was flailing her arms up and down. She was jumping up and down. Body shaming me. I mean, racial slurs, just a lot.
And did she spit on you?
She did.
Did her spit actually land on your body?
It did.
Why did you exit the elevator to speak with her after she said what she said?
I wanted to clarify the misunderstanding.
Did you also want her to leave because she was causing a disturbance?
At that time, she was causing a disturbance. She was yelling and screaming, and I did want her to leave.
And as a security guard, were you working there as an extension of the owner to be able to make that kind of call, whether somebody should be told to leave because they're causing a disturbance?
Objection, leading Life Foundation calls for legal conclusions.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I'm going to ask you a different question. Did the landlord hire you as a security guard to protect its building?
Yes.
Life Foundation.
Overruled.
And did you do that?
Yes.
For how long?
For about 4 years.
During those 4 years, did you ever have a problem with anybody else?
Never.
Not one time.
Not as far as I can remember, no. Not a perfect employee, but a good employee.
Did the defendant take a swing at you?
She did.
When she took a swing at you, it didn't hit your body, correct?
No.
Did the defendant use her fingernails to cut your face?
She did.
As a result of the cut to your face, did you have to see 2 different plastic surgeons?
Yes,
Did you undergo plastic surgery?
I did.
Your Honor, if I may show exhibit number 7.
The entire.
Well, that's it, it's the photographs, you never disclosed it.
22 photographs that we discussed earlier.
I'm gonna let him show the photographs.
For the record,
What's that?
I'm sorry, for the record, we,
Overruled. Can you just identify it by number?
Yes,
Page
sir.
number?
Would it be okay to get one of those books? Your Honor, I would like to show exhibit 7-001.
Understanding you're objecting to their admission, do you want them to lay foundation, or are we going to stipulate foundation?
well, I'm sorry, Your Honor?
You want
I
to
thought you were
stipulate?
asking him if he wanted to lay a foundation.
Do you want them to lay a foundation, or you stipulate so?
No, we don't stipulate.
Okay. Then why don't you show the photograph to your client first to identify what it is?
Yes, Your Honor. If you can look into that notebook on your right, there'll be a number 7. At some point recently, did you go to the building and accompany people from my office to take photographs of the incident?
Overruled.
Yes.
And the purpose of taking the photographs were to show where the incident occurred and give the jury understanding of what kind of building we're dealing with?
Yes,
And you feel it's important that they see that?
absolutely.
Your Honor, may I publish that 7-001?
So you only had her authenticate number the first page, and just want to have her thumb through it and
Sure.
verify that those are the photographs you're accepting that they.
Yes, Your Honor, I will do so. If you can look at 7-001 through 7-022, if you can look at all those photographs. Are those photographs of the building where you worked on February 24th, 2018?
Yes.
And if you look towards the end, 7-022, is that the area where the incident took place?
One second. Yes.
Can I show them to?
Yeah, just identify them as we publish.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm just going to show exhibit 7-001. Ms. Ellis, is this the photograph that we discussed, which is the outside of the building where you worked at 8920 Wilshire Boulevard, Beverly Hills?
Yes.
Okay, 7-002, is this a closer picture of the same building?
Correct.
And this is a 6-story building in the city of Beverly Hills. It's an older building, correct?
Correct.
And then 7-003, we're getting closer to the front.
Correct.
7-004, is that the front entrance of the building where you work?
Yes.
Okay, 7-005, another photograph of the same front, closer up.
Yes.
7-006, you see that photograph? Is that the inside of the lobby of the building where you work?
Yes.
And 7-007, was that security booth there when you worked there? Do you remember?
It was.
Did you sit behind that security booth?
I did.
And on the date of the incident, were you wearing your uniform?
Yes.
7-007 is a photograph of that booth where you sit. 7-008, was that sign there on the date when you worked there?
Yes.
Okay. 7-009, these are the elevators that guests and visitors of the building would take to get upstairs, is that correct?
Yes.
And on the date of the incident, do you remember if you took the elevator to get to the 5th floor, or maybe took the stairs? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
All right, if I can take, we're going to skip. We'll just go through it here fast. 7-010, is this a photograph of the elevator which Cardi B got out of on February 24, 2018?
Yes.
And that's the elevator that you entered, correct?
Yes.
It's a relatively small elevator, isn't it?
Yes.
And 7-011, is that a photograph of the elevator area where the incident took place that we took recently?
Yes.
And obviously on the day of the incident, you were there. It was a Saturday, correct?
Yes.
Was it this way with garbage all around, or not?
Not at that time, no.
7012 and 7013 and 7014 and 7015 are photographs of the hallway leading up to the elevator bay, correct?
Yes.
And did Miss Cardi B walk down the hallway after she spoke with you and came back, or did everything happen right at the elevator bay?
She did. She came out and looked around, and then when she heard what I said, she turned back around to approach me.
Okay, if we could go to 7-021. This is where the entire incident took place, correct?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give and the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
James, J-A-M-E-S, Rosenberg, R-O-S-E-N-B-E-R-G.
Perfect. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your step.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself for the jury.
My name's Dr. James Rosenberg. I'm a licensed medical doctor in California. I specialize in psychiatry.
Can you please outline your professional education for us?
Yes, I studied philosophy and molecular biology at UC Berkeley. I then did a year of surgery research at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, including coronary laser angioplasty research. I attended medical school for 4 years at UCLA. I then did an internship in primarily specialties of surgery and cancer medicine, including neurosurgery and cardiothoracic surgery. I then did a 3-year residency at the UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute in psychiatry, and I did a fellowship in forensic psychiatry at the Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland with a Dr. Philip Resnick.
Okay, and what licenses and board certifications do you hold?
So my license is to practice medicine in the state of California. I have a lifetime board certification in psychiatry. In 1996, I got my second board certification in forensic psychiatry, a subspecialty of psychiatry involving the legal system. That's every 10 years. I renewed it for another 10 years until 2016. And then due to a very bad experience I had in a criminal case, my wife and I decided I wouldn't renew it again and I would stop doing criminal work.
Okay, can you please briefly summarize your professional experience as a psychiatrist?
Yes, so after I completed my training and came back to my fellowship, I became assistant director of psychiatry at the West Los Angeles VA Medical Center and ran the locked psychiatric intensive care unit at UCLA Teaching Service and was there for a few years. I was a member of the UCLA Medical School faculty for 16 years. After I left the VA, because my forensic consultation practice started to get busy, I always continued to see patients at least one day a week unrelated to any legal matter. Most recently, it was 22 years at a nonprofit community mental health clinic in Van Nuys, providing psychiatric evaluation and treatment of homeless and low-income individuals. My forensic psychiatry practice, the first half of my career was primarily criminal cases, approximately 200 murders, mass murder, serial criminals, and other types of major crimes. The second half has been primarily civil litigation matters of brain injuries, catastrophic physical injuries with PTSD claims, and employment-related matters. I've consulted over the years to the United States Attorney in Washington, D.C. on organized crime in the Eastern District of New York, for the Medical Board, the Attorney General, and also for 8 years I was a consultant to the show Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would like to show Exhibit 220 to the witness. Dr. Rosenberg, it's Exhibit 220 in the blue binder.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm at 220.
Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, this looks like the first page of my resume or curriculum vitae.
And can you please flip through it and let me know if that's a true, correct copy of your CV?
Yes, this is the most current version, last updated February 2023.
Thank you. Your Honor, defendant moves to admit Exhibit 220 in evidence.
Objection, Your Honor. I object to that at this point.
Based on what?
Foundation.
Over.
Have you been retained as an expert on behalf of the defendant Cardi B in this case?
That's my understanding.
And what is it that you were asked to do?
I was asked to conduct a psychiatric evaluation of Ms. Ellis's emotional injury claims related to the incident on February 24th, 2018.
Have you served as a retained expert in previous cases?
Yes, both criminal and civil matters, probably over my career, maybe 1,500 times.
Experts are paid for their time. What is your rate that you charge for the time that you spent working on this case?
So I charge, my base rate is $550 an hour, which is for reviewing records, my face-to-face examination of Ms. Ellis, scoring the psychological testing, and writing a report. My rate for testimony in deposition, which was taken in this case, or a trial like today, is $800 an hour, and there's in 4-hour blocks.
Does your fee depend in any way on whether your opinion is favorable to Cardi B?
No, that's never been the case. And for example, I've never worked on a lien, which does involve that type of interest from my non-attorney standpoint.
Do you recall approximately how long you've been engaged on this matter?
I believe it's been since early 2023.
Okay, and how much have you charged in this matter over those 2.5 roughly years?
Well, for reviewing the records, which I've had to re-review, and additional records, examination, the psych testing, my report, preparing for deposition with plaintiff's counsel, I think I've thus far charged something a little over $30,000.
Okay. And I believe you testified that you conducted a psychiatric evaluation of the plaintiff as part of your duties in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, so the psychiatric evaluation is, to me, a broader term. That consists of the triad of reviewing records, conducting a face-to-face examination, and scoring and utilizing the psychological testing that was administered during that examination. So it's a matter of integrating and correlating and weighing the information from those three sources.
And can you please, in just a little more detail, explain what happened during that evaluation in this case?
Certainly. So I believe it was in July, maybe around July 21st, 2023. So it took about, I would say, roughly 6 hours. The entire examination was audio recorded. And the first half of the examination was the administration of the psychological testing, where using gold standard psychological tests, I provided them to Ms. Ellis. I was there with her the entire time and made sure she understood the instructions, and then she filled out the answering sheets, circles or bubble and answer sheets as she went along. The second half of the day was the interview, and in accordance with generally accepted principles, whether it's a patient care or clinical setting or forensic setting like this, the interview involves a wide variety of background areas in order to establish a baseline, some of these risk and resilience factors for developing a psychiatric disorder. So it includes, for example, a brief developmental history, education growing up, employment, social marital relationships, medications, general medical history, substance use history, if any, whether there are any family history of any psychiatric or medical conditions that are relevant and carry a genetic risk for Ms. Ellis, as well as legal issues like workers' comp claims, so a variety of background areas. And then to establish that baseline in detail, what Ms. Ellis was like, let's say in the month or so before the incident in this case, then a brief discussion of that incident, and then in detail tracing the onset and course of her reported emotional and other symptoms and how that's affected her, and in the context of also correlating that with her real-life day-to-day function and any health care that she sought out and received.
Okay, and based on that examination, did you reach any conclusions with respect to whether the plaintiff suffered a mental or emotional injury as a result of her encounter with Cardi B?
Yes, I did reach an opinion, as with all my opinions, I reached an opinion with reasonable medical probability in that regard.
Thank you, and what was that opinion?
My opinion is that there is no significant evidence that Ms. Ellis sustained an emotional injury at any point in time in this case, from the time of the incident to present, with the understanding that an emotional injury, from my standpoint, consists of the onset of one or more psychiatric diagnoses in accordance with the American Psychiatric Association's guidelines or criteria, or the substantial worsening if there was a pre-existing disorder, and that in my opinion, Ms. Ellis has never qualified for that in this case.
Thank you. I believe you testified that one of the parts of your examination was psychological testing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you please briefly explain what those tests were?
Yes, so again, what's very important is first the choice of tests. I use gold standard tests that are well validated scientifically and recognized as appropriate tests for this context. So the purpose of the test is that first they have validity scales that look at how somebody's approaching taking the test and what information that says generally about how the individual may be approaching reporting an emotional injury claim, as well as on the test specifically. They then include a variety of clinical scales: anxiety, depression, PTSD, physical symptoms, substance use, cognitive symptoms, meaning things like memory, attention, concentration, personality, psychosis, a variety of factors like that.
And can you please identify what tests you administered?
Yes, so I administered the MMPI-3. It was either the MMPI-3 or the MMPI-2-RF. Those are the current ultimate gold standard tests. You have to pass that test. For example, to fly a passenger jet, to be in the Secret Service, you have to pass that, or the other test I gave, for example, to become a law enforcement officer in California. So I gave the MMPI-2-RF or the MMPI-3. I gave the only other gold standard test of that type, the Personality Assessment Inventory, or PAI. And then something that's very secondary is I gave a brief screening cognitive test, simple 10-minute test used in primary care that looks at things like attention, memory, concentration.
And can you please summarize for the jury what the process of taking the MMPI-2 or 3 test looks like?
Sure. So, I first ask if the individual is familiar with it, and then that she can see the answer sheet in the booklet, have her read the formal instructions at the beginning of the test booklet and tell me that she understands them. And then it's a matter of answering about 335 questions where you bubble in on a separate answer sheet, true or false, for those questions. And then I take the results of that and I use the test publisher's official scoring software, which I have on a laptop computer, input those answers, and then generate a statistical report based upon her answers. It provides a variety of scales and scores, and then narrative text, meaning it provides a text description of what individuals like with these scores tend to look like, although it doesn't talk specifically about Ms. Ellis. And you would never want to make an opinion about somebody based on just the test. Again, it's a matter of correlating them with your overall evaluation, with the interview and the record review.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to show Trial Exhibit 229 to the witness.
Any objection?
Objection, hearsay.
You don't want to publish it at this point?
Not at this point.
Oh, okay, I thought I had no objection to showing it. Just publish it.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Can you please turn in the blue binder to Exhibit 229?
Okay, I'm at 229. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes. So this is the report of the MMPI-2 psychological test that I administered to Ms. Ellis on July 21st, 2023. and which I provided along with other documents to opposing counsel before my deposition.
And does this document refresh your recollection as to which version of the MMPI-2 test you conducted in Ms. Ellis's case?
Yes, I gave the MMPI-2. That and the MMPI-3 are the most recent and, again, the gold standard tests worldwide in this kind of context.
Thank you. And that report that you have in front of you, did you create that document yourself?
Well, I created it in the sense that I inputted her answers into the test publisher software on my laptop. I then double-checked the answer through a process that's provided by the software. And then I had the software generate this report, again using statistical algorithm that is intrinsic to the software. I don't personally score any of the scales. I don't personally write out any of the text interpretation that's in it. My job is then, how do I use that information once it's available in an overall assessment?
And is it fair to say that you used this report as an analytical tool in reaching your conclusions with respect to Ms. Ellis?
Yes, again, considering all of the information available to me from the records, the exam, the testing, I utilized inductive medical reasoning, a best fit logical reasoning, the same reasoning I would use if I was in an emergency room, if I was a surgeon or I was a radiologist.
Do you use this software and the reports that are generated from it regularly in your psychological evaluations?
Yes, I've used these tests several hundreds of times. I have the highest user rating qualification from both test publishers.
Okay, and do you recall when this particular report was generated?
My best recollection is I generated it, shortly after the examination had been completed, but I just apologize, I don't recall a specific date.
Okay, thank you. Defendant moves to admit Exhibit 229 into evidence.
Objection.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. Submitted.
Your Honor, may I publish page 2 of Exhibit 229?
All right.
All right, and Dr. Rosenberg, you can see at the top there, I suppose you could look at the binder as well.
If you turn your screen on, the top left button on the top left side, it should be on there.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's much better.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, yes, sir, I can see it now. I wasn't able to see that.
Thank you. If you look at the top of the page, it says validity scales. Can you please explain what that means?
Yes, so these are the most important scales of their type for this and the MMPI-3 of any test in the world, any psychological test. The validity scales look at how somebody is approaching the test. The first two scales, VRIN and TRIN, variable and true response indicator, look at whether somebody understood the test questions and responded to them in a consistent fashion. So those first have to be valid before you can go on to interpret the rest of the test. The remainder of the validity scales, the vast majority of them, look at their F scales because they look at infrequent responses. These scales become more and more elevated if an individual endorses or answers questions endorsing symptoms that are infrequent, meaning that even somebody who actually had that mental disorder would not actually endorse them. And these scales are scored against a large statistical population, cross-section population of the United States. And then the last couple scales, the L scale, looks at a different type of potential manipulation, portraying yourself in an overly positive or virtuous light. And then the last one is just a correction to that.
Thank you. And what do Ms. Ellis's test results in this case show you? And I'm sorry, specifically with respect to the validity scales.
Yeah, so looking at these, it's more fun to do it from memory, but looking at these scales, they demonstrate that when Ms. Ellis took this test, that she generated scale elevations in the range that only reasonably could be interpreted as either severe symptom exaggeration or symptom fabrication. From a psychiatric standpoint, obviously, I'm not giving a factual opinion. So if we look at F, the third one over with a T-score of 83, so these are compared against a normal bell curve of statistical scores where a T-score of 50 is in the middle. And every time you go out 10, you're going out another standard deviation. So at a T-score of 83, the F scale that looks at things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, she generated a score more than 3 standard deviations above the norm. And statistically, only 48 people out of 100,000 would actually generate that score, even if they really had the condition. If we then look at the other scales thereafter, the FS scale, S is for somatic, meaning physical symptoms. The FBS, which is the fake bad scale or symptom validity scale, and the RBS scale, those look at physical health symptoms and they look at cognitive symptoms like attention, concentration, primarily if you're evaluating a brain injury claim. And so on those scales, with the understanding that, as I'll discuss, Ms. Ellis has not sought out any type of, from my review of the Kaiser records and my audio recorded interview, any type of physical health problem whatsoever, and certainly hasn't had a brain injury. These elevations are extraordinarily high. The FBS, or fake bad scale elevation, of a T-score of 102, at 5 standard deviations above the norm, only 2 individuals out of 1 billion would actually have that score if he or she had the actual disorder. So these are extremely high. They're far beyond the range of somebody who could just be distressed and is trying to emphasize how distressed she is, or so-called cry for help. These are in the range of elevation that no individual, even with the conditions, would reasonably have at that statistical elevation, putting aside that she doesn't even claim those types of symptoms in the first place.
Thank you. What types of symptoms would that be?
So for the FS, to have an elevation on F sub S, which is somatic or physical, especially a significant elevation, you would have to have a serious physical health condition. Let's say you have cancer, or you recently had a heart attack, or you're in heart failure, or you have uncontrolled diabetes, things like that. FBS is particularly sensitive to symptom fabrication or exaggeration in individuals who've had traumatic brain injuries. But again, even if you had a severe disabling traumatic brain injury and you were in a rehabilitation facility, your elevation would be maybe a T-score of 70, 75. Again, at 102, where it's 2 people in a billion, no individual who even had a brain injury would reasonably endorse that score. Where again, they get elevated the more and more you endorse symptoms that no person who actually has the condition would actually report those symptoms. And then RBS is cognitive. So again, it looks at things like attention, memory, and concentration. And again, hers is elevated in the range of 4 standard deviations. So, it would be well over 100 million to 1 that she would actually have those symptoms.
Thank you. Can you please turn to page 10 of the report?
Of this psych testing report?
Yes. Towards the bottom, you see is written diagnostic considerations.
Yes.
Can you please explain what that section is saying here?
Yes, so again, the report doesn't talk about Ms. Ellis specifically. It talks about, at a statistical level, individuals who have these scales and scores tend to look like this. And the diagnoses that are suggested are rank ordered. They're in the priority of how likely they are. And so the first diagnosis listed is malingering of somatic and or cognitive symptoms, primarily generated by the elevation of the F sub S, the fake bad scale, and the RBS. And so, and malingering refers to the intentional gross exaggeration or otherwise fabrication or manipulation of symptoms for secondary gain in the field of psychiatry, and is actually in accordance with the American Psychiatric Association's published guidelines.
And again, this section of the report, like everything else, this was generated as a result of the test publisher software. Is that correct?
Yes, the test publisher software, the statistical scoring, which involves hundreds of thousands of individuals, and then detailed mathematical statistical algorithms that are used to score this test and prepare this report.
You testified earlier that there were other psychological tests that you administered. Are the results of those tests similar with respect to symptom exaggeration or fabrication?
Well, I would say yes and no. The other test, the personality assessment inventory, does not have as sensitive of validity scales to detect exaggeration or other manipulation, though it does show some evidence of that. But when we look at the clinical scales on the personality assessment inventory, Ms. Ellis generated such huge elevations for scales like anxiety, physical symptoms, PTSD, depression, again, several deviations above the norm, that make no reasonable sense unless somebody was actually, for example, so ill that she required inpatient psychiatric care on medications, was critically ill or terminally ill with physical health conditions. The other inconsistency is that on the MMPI-2-RF, she scored, accepting her symptoms at face value, she scored very high on symptoms for paranoid thinking at the level of somebody with a paranoid psychotic disorder like schizophrenia. And that was not seen on the PAI. So that would be an inconsistency between them, but it also would be another example of symptom endorsement that makes no reasonable sense except for intentional gross fabrication or outright fabrication of symptoms in this case. At that level of paranoid thinking, again, would be like a uncontrolled schizophrenia requiring acute inpatient care on medication. But by the same token, taking it at face value, it is, from my standpoint, of relevance to the trier of fact in evaluating somebody with that degree of paranoia and suspiciousness, how that individual reacts to or responds in neutral situations, social situations, potential arguments.
You mentioned a high paranoid thinking score. I believe that's correct.
I'm sorry, so what did you say?
Did you mention a high paranoid thinking score? Is that how you phrased it?
Yes, on the three key scales of the MMPI-2 for paranoid thinking, again, typically seen in something like schizophrenia, she had significant elevations on those scales, all three, again, in the range which the we see here in the text report, how the report interprets it, at the level of somebody who's a paranoid psychotic with delusions, not just somebody who feels a little stressed or like somebody's looking over her shoulder.
And as a professional and a psychiatrist, how would you interpret that score in this case?
So again, I think there are only two reasonable ways to interpret it. One would be that it's another common manifestation in how somebody in an emotional injury case produces either gross exaggeration or outright fabrication of symptoms in an attempt to look injured. The alternative is that part of somebody's baseline where in day-to-day interactions she interprets normal or neutral interactions as a personal attack. The only other reasonable alternative, taking it at face value, would be she actually has a psychotic mental disorder like paranoid schizophrenia with things like hallucinations, believing that there's a plot to have her killed, satellites are watching her, her phone is bugged, things of that sort.
And based on the other elements of your examination, did you make a conclusion as to which one of those would be true here?
Well, I think reasonably from a psychiatric standpoint, given all the other information available to me, the reasonable interpretation is that it's another example of severe symptom manipulation, exaggeration, or fabrication. But again, it also has to be considered, again, from a factual standpoint for the trier of fact, does it demonstrate paranoid thinking that can affect how somebody reacts in a situation or a disagreement.
But to be clear, are you diagnosing Ms. Ellis with, for example, schizophrenia?
No, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Why not?
Yeah, I should ask that answer.
Well, because in schizophrenia, and obviously there's a spectrum, there are individuals who are very well controlled on medication. I know I've had schizophrenic patients, who are like run corporations and do very well, but the vast majority tend to have very severe and chronic courses, often homeless in mental institutions. And so, but with these levels of scores, if you actually had schizophrenia, you would function at a very low level. You wouldn't be able to maintain reasonable family relationships. You wouldn't be able to hold a job. You wouldn't be able to function in major life activities. And again, you would require psychiatric hospitalization and antipsychotic medication.
Did you diagnose Ms. Ellis with any psychiatric conditions?
No, again, since I equate, for a case like this, emotional injury with have you developed one or more psychiatric disorders as a result of your allegations of the incident with Cardi B, I have no diagnoses for her because she has sustained no emotional injury.
Okay, and apart from the test results, are there any other factors on which you base your conclusion that plaintiff hasn't suffered any mental or emotional injury?
Yes.
What are those?
So the first factor is that, again, I accept Ms. Ellis's report or allegations of what happened that day in that incident, reasonably from a psychiatric standpoint, that would be a stressful or upsetting situation. You might be mad or angry for a day. You might lose some sleep over it. It might be in the back of your mind for a few days. But reasonably, people don't develop psychiatric disorders like an anxiety disorder, depression, from an argument or an unpleasant interaction like that on a single basis. That just makes no reasonable sense. And as we'll discuss, makes even less sense in Ms. Ellis's case because it turns out, although she didn't share them with me when I asked, she's had multiple other traumas in her life, and according to her, those didn't cause emotional problems. So she obviously must have great resilience, and it would make no sense that this much more minor thing somehow would, when most people wouldn't. The other reason is that, well, I have a few reasons, but I promise I'll stop talking soon. Another reason it's important to understand that this doesn't constitute a trauma. Again, accepting Ms. Ellis's report of what happened at face value, it doesn't constitute a trauma. It would be a stressor to some degree on an interpersonal basis, but under the American Psychiatric Association standards for what constitutes a trauma, for example, to be able to develop PTSD, this does not meet that. It has to be something like life-threatening accident, illness, witness to violence. So, for example, physical or sexual abuse growing up, kidnapping, sexual assault, military combat. These things are traumas, and they can lead to PTSD. An argument or unpleasant interpersonal interaction isn't a trauma and can't lead to PTSD. And that's particularly important for us since some of Ms. Ellis's most dramatic scores on the psych testing have been profound elevations of PTSD scales, again, in a range where no individual who actually had PTSD would reasonably generate those scores.
Are there any other factors?
Yes, so another important factor is, again, in accordance with the published, generally accepted guidelines of the American Psychiatric Association in our diagnostic manual, whenever there is a psychiatrist or psychologist is doing an evaluation in a legal context where financial gain or some other type of secondary gain is at stake, you always have to consider and rule out the risk of intentional manipulation for financial gain. And in that context, in this case, Ms. Ellis has demonstrated a significant pattern of inconsistencies and other symptom validity issues. For example, in my audio recorded examination, again, there's an audio recorded record, she told me, with the exception of a couple sessions of family therapy when she was 12 because her sister had been sexually assaulted by a neighbor, she could not recall a single trauma in her entire life growing up. Couldn't remember a single one in response to my detailed questioning. Whereas, for example, in her deposition, she reported that she was a victim growing up of domestic violence in the home, gang violence, other violence. Schoolmates were shot and killed. She was physically mugged in high school. Her car was broken into several times. None of those were reported to me. So those represent an important mismatch in a legal case where an individual potentially tries to make everything about the incident that can be compensable in a lawsuit. Another example along the same lines is in my audio recorded exam, she told me that all of her emotional problems from the day of the incident, in this case, February 2018 to present, have been entirely due to what happened with Cardi B and absolutely nothing else. And she couldn't identify any other stressors in recent years that could be relevant. Whereas, again, in her deposition testimony, the same year, January 2018, her mother was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Later in the year, her mother had radiation therapy for cancer.
Objection, right to privacy of the mother.
If you want to describe the issues more generically.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Sure.
And the same year, one of her friends committed suicide. And again, none of those things were shared with me. So that would be another example. I do have a couple more.
Setting aside that mismatch that you're discussing, are there any other general topics, general factors on which you base your conclusion?
Yes. So another factor that I have to consider as a psychiatrist and medical doctor is there a mismatch across sources of information, considering the records I've reviewed, the psych testing I did, the interview. So another factor, which is very important, is to correlate somebody's subjective, meaning what she reports, emotional injury claims of injury, with real-life day-to-day function as a more objective measure. So in this case, if I accepted Ms. Ellis's reports at face value, particularly with the psych testing, she would have profound, off-the-charts PTSD, profound disabling depression, anxiety, profound disabling physical health conditions. Whereas when I compare that to her real-life function, she's had intact relationships with her, loving relationships with her family, which would not be reasonable in the context, particularly of profound PTSD. That she's, in a few months after the altercation and continuing to the present, she's had a job that not only has been higher paying for her, but has been more demanding, requires top, excellent interpersonal skills, how to deal with people, troubled youths, and emotional resilience, and has, per her deposition, performed it well. Again, total mismatch. She also reported to me that since the incident, she's traveled to Hawaii, Las Vegas, Mexico, though she couldn't remember, supposedly, that if she had gone to other places or how many times. And again, even if you look in the psych testing report that was generated, particularly with severe PTSD, you don't want to leave your house, you don't want to interact with people, you withdraw from your family, the future looks bleak to you, you don't have a job. These things are completely contrary.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, Cross.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Alice. Good afternoon, Dr. Rosenberg.
Good afternoon, sir.
I took your deposition on August 5th, and we went over all of your opinions, correct?
We went over all my opinions, but it's very clear that you didn't ask me for all the factors in support of my opinions.
Okay. But I did take your deposition and took about 2 hours, a little bit less, correct?
Yes, sir. You were extremely polite and professional, which I appreciate.
Thank you, Doctor. So you testified today that you billed $30,000 in this case. Is that often the charges that you bill for the type of case that's litigated and without the time for trial, of course, up until trial. Is that a reasonable amount of billing in a case like this?
I would say in a complex case that spans over years, that's probably true of maybe 25% of my litigation matters that I work on.
Okay. And in addition to the $30,000 that you received, you were also paid $1,800 by my office, correct?
Yes, sir, for my deposition fees.
And for today, you're being paid another $10,000 to prepare and appear here and testify and go back and forth. Is that fair?
I think that's reasonable, yes, sir.
Could it be higher than that amount?
I don't think so. I think that's a reasonable estimate.
So my estimate is about $40,000, correct?
Yes, sir, I think that's very reasonable.
And in the past 29 years, you testified at your deposition, or I can ask you now, isn't it true that in 70 to 80% of cases you testified on behalf of the defense up until recently, correct?
Yes.
And there's a well-known lawyer that we all know, no need to mention names, but recently he's been giving you some more work, so your 70 to 80% has gone down to 60%, correct?
More work on the plaintiff side, that's correct.
And as far as the attorneys, Cardi B had an attorney before Mr. Kossoff and other lawyers. In working with their firm, you worked in 5 other cases with them?
That sounds about right, sir, yes.
And with their new law firm, Davis, Wright, and Tremaine, with Mr. Peterson, Mr. Lamb, and all the other attorneys involved with them, you worked in 15 cases with their office, correct?
Objection. Same facts.
Yes, over the past 20 years or so, that's correct, though I've never worked with these particular attorneys before.
And would you agree that in 90% of cases that you were hired in, you basically remain the expert on the case and you don't withdraw, correct? About 90%.
I apologize, I don't recall a case in which I have withdrawn.
So are you saying that every single time the defense hires you in a case, you remain the expert in that case without giving them an opinion before you testify?
Objection. This states.
Is that what you were saying, sir?
Assistant.
So when you were hired by Cardi B's office, by her lawyers, when were you hired approximately?
I believe it was sometime early in 2023.
Okay. And when you were hired in 2023, did you ask, well, strike that. Did you examine Imani Ellis in 2023, correct? Or was
Yeah.
it 2024? Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir. I believe it was July 21st of 2023.
Did you ever do any type of examination on Cardi B at any point?
Given that that would be inappropriate since she wasn't the plaintiff with a psychiatric claim, I did not, sir.
Right, but she was involved in some type of altercation, correct?
Objection. Incomplete hypothetical.
I don't think it's relevant. It's not relevant whether she has any damages or not.
And what is your understanding as to what is the basis of this claim? What is Imani Ellis's claim? Why is she here in court?
My understanding is that she felt that she was verbally mistreated by Cardi B, including foul or demeaning language, that Cardi B touched her face with a long fingernail and caused some injury to her face, and that also resulted a month later in Ms. Ellis being fired from her security job.
Okay. Do you know, in psychiatry, do you treat patients that deal with assault and battery?
In my patient care practice, putting aside legal matters,
Yes.
Let me just object for being ambiguous as to deal with.
Assistant.
I'll strike that. Have you treated patients for injuries related to assault and battery in your career since 1994 as a psychiatrist?
a few hundred times, from very simple to extremely severe injuries.
When you say simple, what is an example? What are you saying to us?
Yes. So by simple, I don't mean to say it's not important or it's not serious to the person, but I mean, for example, let's say somebody being pushed or a hand on a shoulder in an aggressive way or something like that, all the way up to people who are beaten and kicked on the ground with skull fractures and being hit over the head with clubs and pistol whips, a variety of things, stabbed.
And when you treated the various patients, would you treat them more than once? The ones that you're speaking of?
Typically, I mean, it depends on the setting. As a medical doctor, I used to spend a lot of time in emergency rooms, so there it might be once. But over the course of my career, overwhelmingly, particularly 22 years in a nonprofit clinic in Van Nuys, I would treat them on a repeated basis. Some of them I would treat for many years, although those tended to be individuals with major mental disorders like bipolar or schizophrenia.
Okay, and if you could just look at the other binder on your left, please.
Pardon me one sec, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Where should I look?
Yes, if we can look at Exhibit 1-003.
I'm there, sir.
At the time of your deposition, had you reviewed this page?
Objection. Beyond the scope of direct.
As best I recall, sir, I had not reviewed this particular page.
Okay. Do you remember in your deposition, I asked you if you'd reviewed all of Miss Imani Ellis's medical bills? You remember that?
I apologize. I vaguely remember that, and I don't remember what my answer was.
Is he designated for medical bills?
No.
Then I don't know why we're going down this road.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron. If we can go to Exhibit number 2.
I'm at exhibit number 2, sir.
You reviewed the medical records and bills of Dr. McKinsey, correct?
Yes, I haven't done so recently, but I did earlier in this case.
And we went over this together at the time of your deposition, and you expressed that for purposes of workers' compensation, the treatment was reasonable, but maybe for this case it's not. Do you remember testifying to that, Doctor?
Objection beyond the scope of direct and also beyond the scope of his expert's designation.
Do you have his resolution?
It's in the trial.
What's in the binder?
Tab 8.
The objection is sustained.
As far as any type of physical injury, isn't it true that you are not giving any type of expert opinion about physical injury, correct?
Aside from her inconsistent reports of whether or not she was actually touched on the face by the fingernail, that's correct, sir. I'm not a plastic surgeon. Other than that, I'm not giving any testimony with regard to physical injuries.
And when she came to your office, did you examine her face to see if she had a scar?
As I do
So
with,
yes or no? I'm sorry.
well, I observed her across the table for several hours. I didn't specifically examine her face.
Did you,
beyond that.
did you have an intention to look for the scar on her face? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did you physically go up to her face and look to see if there was a scar?
No, sir.
That's Are you giving any opinions about Miss Amani's physical scar on her face, whether she has one now, she had one from this incident, anything to do with her plastic surgery? Giving any of the opinions about that?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical, also beyond the scope. Also
Sustained.
recommended.
Okay, and in formulating your opinions, did you review Miss Amani Ellis's medical records?
Yes, sir, and those were extremely important to me, actually.
Okay. And you reviewed the medical records from Nicole McKenzie, is that correct? Is that her? Do you remember that?
I haven't recently, but I have in the past, yes, sir.
You can look at it. Did you review Exhibit 2?
Yes, sometime before my deposition, but I've not looked at them since.
And you reviewed Exhibit 3?
Yes, sometime before my deposition, but not since.
Okay. And you reviewed Exhibit 4? And Exhibit 5?
Let me take a look here. Pardon me one sec.
Objection, compound.
Overruled.
As best I recall, yes, but not recently.
And in formulating your opinions, did all of these exhibits assist you in your formulating opinions and coming up with your opinions for us today?
The Kaiser records were extremely important because she had several visits and didn't report a single emotional problem, didn't ask for any care related to this case.
Objection, non-responsive.
So it's a yes or no question. Did you rely on the records in forming your opinions?
Only the Kaiser records.
I didn't ask you about the Kaiser.
Oh, I'm sorry, you had asked me about the Kaiser records earlier. You mean just the ones that I'm looking at in the notebook?
I never said the word Kaiser. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm sorry, I guess when you said medical records, that's what I was interpreting.
Yeah, I'm talking about the medical records from Dr. McKinsey, a psychologist, the medical records from Dr. Avila, a psychologist, the medical records from Dr. Mulliken, a plastic surgeon, and the medical records from Dr. Norman, pain management doctor. Did you review these records? You testified a moment ago, yes. And the question is, did you use these 4 medical records in formulating any of your opinions that you testified to today here in court?
No, sir.
Okay, so when you said there was inconsistencies, didn't you mean that, well, strike that. When you said there's inconsistencies, you found those in the medical records that I just asked you about? Isn't that true?
Maybe I had previously. I don't recall if that's in my deposition testimony, but I did not consider those in formulating my opinions for today. It was the Kaiser records.
Okay, the Kaiser records that you're speaking of. Isn't it true that the Kaiser records, any medical treatment that Imani Ellis received at Kaiser, it has nothing to do with this case. It has nothing to do with assault and battery.
Objection.
It's something totally unrelated, correct?
Objection, speculation, hearsay.
It's over, problem solved. Sustained.
Why did Imani Ellis go to Kaiser Hospital?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Do you know why, from reading the medical records and bills, do you know why Miss Imani Ellis went to the Kaiser Permanente Hospital?
Objection, speculation.
Over.
Um,
You know the answer?
Yes, Your Honor. The answer is yes.
Okay. Why did she go to Kaiser Permanente Hospital?
Same objection.
Over.
Well, April 2022 was for an annual history and physical, a comprehensive. November 2022, comprehensive history and physical. April 2023 with a PA was for reported hand pain.
Everything that you just told us right now about Kaiser Permanente Hospital, as a medical doctor, and in reviewing all these records that you testified you read, wouldn't you agree that those medical treatments have nothing to do with this incident? Agreed? Yes or no?
Objection, very ambiguous.
Over.
I disagree. They're extremely important.
I didn't ask you if they're important. I agree they're important. Going to a hospital is important. My question is, if the medical treatment that was received at Kaiser Permanente Hospital, if it has any relation to medical treatment received by Imani Ellis related to this incident that occurred on February 24th, 2018. Was it?
For my purposes, yes.
Okay. So are you telling us that Miss Imani Ellis went to the hospital in 2022 and 2023 because of injuries related to this incident? Is that what you're testifying to, Doctor?
No.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. What you are telling us is you used some of the medical records from Kaiser Permanente Hospital to formulate some of your opinions in this case. Isn't that true? Maybe
Yes,
I'm
sir.
wrong. Okay, that's true.
Yes, thank you.
And you use that for your different type of studies, your MMPI studies, and all types of different testing that you did, correct?
Objection, very ambiguous.
Over 5. Sustained.
But just so we're clear, the actual treatment didn't have to do with assault and battery or a physical injury. Is that correct?
Objection, very ambiguous.
This has been asked and answered several times.
All right, and then I want some clarity on the other 4 documents. The psychological. Well, let me ask you this: as a psychiatrist, do you believe that psychological care with no medication is a respected medicine?
As a general principle, yes.
Have you referred your own patients to receive psychological care?
Oh, innumerable times, yes.
And whether it's a PsyD or PhD or some other type of psychologist that's licensed, you agree that patients can receive medical care from those types of professionals and actually benefit from that type of care. You agree?
Well, it's not medical care, but I do agree that they can receive very helpful, effective mental health care.
So are you saying mental health care is not medical care?
Objection, this case is
Over.
In general, unless it's a psychiatrist, mental health care is much broader and refers to non-medical healthcare providers, psychologists, LMFT, social workers.
Do you believe that patients benefit from mental health treatment with no medication?
Over.
For the appropriate indication, yes, sir.
And how does it help if they go to a psychologist and they talk about their problems? From your perspective, you're a psychiatrist. You are the man who would know. So when a patient goes to a psychologist and they talk about their problems, they explain their problems, why does that help the patient? Why?
Objection, very ambiguous.
I don't know that it's relevant. So if you can establish some foundation as to why we're talking about other patients.
Did Imani Ellis receive psychological treatment in this case, based on your review of the medical records and medical bills, from 2 different psychologists? True?
Yes.
And from your review of the medical records, she went to 7 treatments with Nicole McKenzie and other doctors from her office. Is that true?
Objection, beyond the scope of this expert's designation.
Over.
That sounds about right, sir, yes.
And she went to Dr. Avila, another psychologist. She went to his office and got treatment from other providers that work under him for a total of 12 treatments, correct?
Objection, beyond the scope of this expert's designation.
Over.
That sounds about right, yes, sir.
And those 2 psychologists, setting aside this case, is there any reason why you as a professional would not refer a patient to these 2 psychologists?
Objection.
I withdraw the question. If we were to talk about, do you remember at the time of your deposition, you said to me that you testified under oath that you worked alongside Dr. Mulliken in cases before. True? About 10 times?
Overruled.
Well, when you say alongside, I've been on the same side and on the opposite side in several legal cases, not like next to him in surgery.
I understand. But you worked alongside him, meaning you've worked on the same cases in about 10 different times, correct? That was your testimony.
Yes, I don't know if it's 10 on the same side or 10 in total on both sides, but happy to accept whatever you say.
Right. And you're affiliated with UCLA?
Not anymore. I was a professor for 16 years, but not anymore.
Okay. And Dr. Mulliken is also affiliated with UCLA? Is that how you know him?
I don't know if he's currently affiliated with UCLA or not, sir. He certainly has excellent qualifications.
Right. You said that at your deposition. Your words were, he has very impressive credentials, correct?
Yes.
Do you know Dr. Mulliken to be a clinical associate professor at UCLA?
Objection, speculation, on this expert's designation.
At your deposition, you stated that you cannot say that the diagnosis was malingering. Do you remember testifying to that?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
What does malingering mean?
Well, yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
I didn't know if you meant that or what I
Well,
meant by saying I couldn't diagnose it.
Why don't we start with what does malingering mean?
So malingering is an official diagnosis of the American Psychiatric Association. It's not a disorder, but it's a diagnosis which refers to a pattern of intentional exaggeration, fabrication, or other manipulation in a legal context for secondary gain. For example, in a criminal case, it could be trying to appear psychotic to avoid criminal punishment. In a litigation like this, typically for monetary gain.
And you testified at the deposition that you cannot say that the diagnosis was malingering. Do you remember saying that?
Ms. Ellis, absolutely, I did say that, sir.
Do you remember meeting Miss Ellis? Do you remember the encounter?
Yes.
Do you remember telling Miss Ellis that you were sorry about what she went through? Did you tell her that?
Yes, based upon her description, I told her I was sorry what she had been through, and it was a pleasure to meet her.
And the testing that you did was in 2023, 5 years later?
Yes, sir.
Would it have been beneficial to have done your testing and interview and all the different things shortly after this incident?
I think that would have been beneficial as well, but also doing it again later is also equally beneficial.
Okay. And do you remember I asked you about discovery, if you had reviewed any discovery, and you said you had not? Fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you actually asked that the defense provide you with the discovery so you could review it, and that you would then give us additional opinions. You remember testifying to that in your deposition?
Objection to state's testimony.
Overruled.
I don't recall, but I know I said that if I received additional information of any type, I'd happily review it, consider it, and it could modify my opinions.
Have you received those discovery responses?
No, sir.
Do you remember also testifying at your deposition that it would be beneficial to your opinions to see Imani Ellis a second time? Do you remember testifying to that?
Yes.
And that if you saw her a second time, that it could further modify your opinions in this case, correct?
Objection to state's testimony.
Overruled.
Potentially, yes, sir.
And between 2018 and 2023, before you saw Imani Ellis, between that 5-year time span, her psychological or psychiatric condition could have changed, correct? She could have got better. She could have recovered, right? True?
I'm sorry, between 18 and 23?
Yes.
That's certainly a possibility.
Okay. And when she saw Dr. McKenzie for 7 visits and other doctors that work in Dr. McKenzie's office, those 7 visits, you say that psychological care helps. Maybe it helped her.
Objection calls for spectator.
Possible, correct?
Sustained.
Do you believe that Miss Imani Ellis benefited from the psychological care she received from Dr. McKenzie?
Objection.
Yes or no?
Calls for speculation.
Sustain.
And she also received, from your review of the medical records, 12 visits from Dr. Avila's office and staff. Correct? You testified to that. So would you agree that 7 plus 12 is 19 visits of psychological care? True?
Yes, I feel very confident in that. Yes.
Okay. Appreciate that. When you refer your patients out for psychological treatment, do you usually give a limit on the course of care, or maybe 5 visits, 10 visits, 12 visits, or you just refer them out to psychological providers?
I'm usually quite precise, but it also depends on the type of psychological care or psychotherapy. Some are time limited on purpose. Others could go on over the course of somebody's lifetime.
All right, counsel, why don't we focus on what his opinion time is?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Okay. Also, we talked about the distinction in your deposition between factual opinion and psychiatric opinion. And you said that you cannot say what did or did not occur in the incident. You remember testifying to that?
Yes.
So basically what that means, just to break it down, is you don't know how this incident occurred. Is that fair?
Outside of a psychiatric context, that's correct. Factually, it's none of my business to determine what happened.
Okay. And isn't it true that you don't know if Miss Imani Ellis was assaulted and battered by Cardi B? You just don't know, correct?
Factually, that's correct, sir.
And you also don't know if Imani Ellis was cut on her face by Cardi B. You don't know that, correct?
Objection beyond the scope of this evidence.
Sustain.
Have you ever spoken with Cardi B at all during the course of this case?
No, sir. I've never spoken to her or had any other type of communication with her.
Would it have been beneficial for you to hear Cardi B's version of what happened in this case? Would that help you in your expert opinion?
I'd certainly be happy to weigh that and give it consideration, but my focus was on emotional injuries of the plaintiff, Ms. Ellis, not on an evaluation of Cardi B.
Understood, but would it have been beneficial to at least hear her version of what occurred in the case? Would that help you?
Objections.
I withdraw the question. Thank you, Doctor. No further questions.
It's a privilege to see you again, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
All right, redirect.
Just a few questions. You testified earlier as to your understanding of the facts of this case. Could you please explain what sources that's based on?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'm
sir.
sorry. You testified earlier as to your understanding of the facts of this case. Could you please explain what sources your understanding is based on?
Yes, so it's based upon my review of Ms. Ellis's deposition, the available medical and mental health records I reviewed. Again, with the understanding several of them I haven't reviewed recently. It's also based upon my detailed audio recorded several-hour interview with Ms. Ellis. And again, in the course of doing my interview, I accept hypothetically at face value that what she's telling me is correct. And then later I form my opinions, which may include opinions regarding symptom validity. But it's not my role to make a factual determination.
And all of those sources that you've reviewed, the facts come from Ms. Ellis or statements that Ms. Ellis made. Is that correct?
Yes.
And does that make sense to you that you would rely on Ms. Ellis's own statements in forming a diagnosis or lack of diagnosis as to Ms. Ellis?
Objection outside the scope.
Over.
Well, if it was a patient care setting, you typically rely only on what the patient tells you and accept at face value, that the person's there for help. In a legal context, it's not appropriate for me to accept what somebody says at face value without corroborating it against psychological testing and available records.
You testified that you did not formally diagnose Ms. Ellis with malingering. What does a formal diagnosis of malingering require, and why did you not? Scratch that. Why did you not diagnose Ms. Ellis with malingering?
Because although Ms. Ellis meets the fundamental criteria of, from a psychiatric standpoint, of gross symptom exaggeration or outright fabrication and a pattern of inconsistencies across information, she's had so many traumas in her life, both growing up and other losses and traumas around 2018, that I can't rule out that she has some sort of emotional problems at a mild level, but they just wouldn't be related to this case.
You evaluated Ms. Ellis 5 years after the incident, according to Ms. Ellis. Is
Yes.
that correct? In your professional opinion, what is the likelihood that Ms. Ellis would not present with any emotional or psychological injuries up to that date that would be related to the incident, but then after this date would suddenly develop emotional or psychological injuries related to that incident?
Objection, vague and ambiguous, unintelligible, compound.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear.
Overruled.
It makes no reasonable sense, and there's no significant likelihood that that would be the case from a medical standpoint. Again, the incident itself, taken at face value, constitutes a situational stressor, a stressful interpersonal interaction. It certainly does not constitute a trauma, as I've discussed. And for somebody to not have a psychiatric disorder and emotional injury for 5 years thereafter, but have significant evidence of symptom manipulation, and also to have the resilience to, by her own accord, report not have psychiatric problems from all the real trauma she has had in her life at other times, it makes no sense that she would suddenly develop it at this point.
Thank you. Give me just a minute. Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Recross?
Yes, sir. Thank you. For any type of other types of injuries that you brought up, someone who was shot at school, a family member got sick, all these other things that you brought up, where did you obtain that information from?
It's actually very ambiguous,
Overruled.
and it's also outside the scope. I've
Sustained.
Did you see any other psychological records or bills related to Imani Ellis prior to this incident?
outside the scope.
Sustained.
You generated a report, correct, on November 22nd of 24?
Objection outside the scope.
Sustained. So there's basically one line of questioning relating to whether or not your client had a later onset of symptoms. I think you're limited to that.
Yes, sir. When you said, when counsel just asked you some questions about inconsistencies and malingering, you said there were inconsistencies. Where were there these inconsistencies? Was it the time when you interviewed her one time, or was it in the medical records?
Objection outside the scope.
Overruled.
as I had tried to explain, it was a combination of my review of the records, the psychological testing, and my interview, comparing those as well as intrinsic validity issues within some of those sources.
Which medical record shows an inconsistency? Which one?
The extremely important Kaiser medical records.
What does the Kaiser medical record say that's inconsistent?
That in, again, April 2022, she went for complete history and physical. She specifically denied any kind of mental health issues, specifically denied anxiety, sleep problems, had no reported mental health problems, no request for care. Same thing in November 2022 with Dr. Ahmad. And then in April 2023, when she went in for her hand pain with the nurse practitioner, they also did a review of systems and asked her about symptoms across the board, which is typical for Kaiser. Absolutely no emotional problems whatsoever, no request for mental health assistance.
Okay. So are you telling us that when Imani Ellis went to Kaiser Permanente on the date of November 29, 22, respectfully, when she went there for vaginal discharge, she should have told that doctor that she had psychological issues. Is that what you're saying, doctor?
Objection beyond.
Yes or no?
Over.
It was a different entry. I'm not talking
That's
about
not
that
what I'm
entry.
asking, doctor. Again, should I repeat what I said, or can you just
I don't
answer
think
the
he said he
question?
based his opinion on that record, Councilman.
You reviewed this record, Kaiser Permanente, correct? You reviewed it. You just testified about it. 161 pages of records. And you said that these records show inconsistencies. And now my question is, are you telling me that my client went to Kaiser Permanente for vaginal discharge on November 29th of 22, and at that visit, she's supposed to tell the doctor that she has psychological problems? Is that your testimony, doctor?
Objection. Argumentative.
Listening.
Are you telling us that every time someone sees a doctor, medical doctor, for a cough, sees a dentist for their broken tooth, sees a podiatrist for the broken toe, they have to each time tell the doctor, I have an emotional injury, I have a psychological injury to that medical doctor? Is that what you mean?
Objection. Argumentative.
Assisting.
What do you mean by inconsistencies in the Kaiser records? Tell us in your own words.
Well, I just mentioned as example 3 key entries where she went. 2 of them were for history and physical and general checkups where everything was covered.
Show me in the book. Show me in the book. Blue book?
Okay, why don't you let him finish the answer before you ask him the next question?
Yes, sir.
So,
Were you done, Doctor?
no, Your Honor, thank you. So again, one was April 2022, Dr. King. The next was November 2022, Dr. Ahmed. The next was nurse practitioner Leon, April 2023, where these are records where, for Kaiser electronic medical records, they asked about other types of conditions, and there were no complaints at all from her that she had a mental health problem or was asking for any kind of care, despite these profound elevations on her psych testing. And in that first one with Dr. King, April 2022, she actually specifically denied problems with insomnia or anxiety, which covers a significant aspect of her symptoms.
Doctor, my request is you show me in these 161 pages where it says what you're saying so that I can confirm so myself. It's in front of you in the blue book under Exhibit 212. You're more than welcome to look at it and show it so
Objection.
that we know the truth.
Objection, Your Honor.
I withdraw the question. Let's go to another issue, Doctor. So, if the plaintiff's emotional injury ended before she went to Kaiser, would you agree that there would be no inconsistency because the psychological injury ended prior to that medical visit? You agree with that?
Objection. Speculation outside of the scope of the hearing.
It makes no reasonable sense. It's not possible.
Why is it not possible? Why can't she recover? She could have recovered before she went to the Kaiser.
She could have recovered, couldn't she have?
Which question would you like me to answer?
Could Miss Imani Ellis have recovered in 2021 or 2022 before she went to Kaiser Hospital? Is that possible? Yes or no?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical.
Overruled.
Taking her symptoms at face value, it's not possible and it's contradictory.
So if in her mind, in her brain, she felt that she recovered after seeing these psychologists, why would she tell Kaiser that she has a psychological problem if she recovered?
I'm sorry, counsel. So she does an exam with him in 23?
No, Your Honor.
When did she see him?
Yes, that is.
Okay. And you're saying that she recovered prior to that, but then had the onset of symptoms when she's with him?
My question is if the plaintiff recovered in 2022, before she went to Kaiser Permanente Hospital, if she had recovered, would there be any reason to tell Kaiser she has an emotional injury? Yes or no?
It makes no sense.
I understand, but if it was true.
All right, I think we're done here. Do you have anything else?
In 2023, when Miss Imani Ellis saw you, did she tell you she was still experiencing emotional injuries from this incident?
Yes, in both the interview and particularly the testing.
And when she told you she was suffering from emotional injuries, did she believe that you're a psychiatrist? Did she know that?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Did you disclose to Imani
Okay,
Ellis?
we're beyond the scope here. Why don't you focus on what was in the redirect?
You said there were some inconsistencies in the Kaiser records. Isn't it true that when Imani Ellis went to Kaiser Permanente Hospital, she went there for reasons other than psychological reasons?
Objection, asking Nancy.
Sustained.
In fact, aside from, well, strike, I'll withdraw that question. The first doctor you said, Dr. King, that she saw? Dr. King, right?
It wasn't the first doctor she saw, but it was first of my 3 examples. That was April 2022, sir.
Fine. When she saw Dr. King, what did she see Dr. King for?
Objection.
I think we've fully exhausted the scope of the sign-up questioning. Do you have anything else?
Aside from the inconsistencies that you reviewed, well, actually, let me ask you. The inconsistencies that you're telling us about in the record, in the Kaiser records, these are non-psychological records, correct? Not fair? I'll close with this.
Objection.
If you say yes to that, we're done.
Objection,
I just want the truth.
Overruled.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
All right. Any questions from the jury? I don't see a hand. All right. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Tier Malcolm. Spell it?
Yes, please.
Tierra, Malcolm, Malcolm.
Great, thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your step.
Okay.
What, counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Malcolm. My name is Peter Anderson, and we just have a few questions. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. Where were you working in February of 2018?
Women's Care, OBGYN doctor's office.
Thank you. And do you recall an encounter between Cardi B and the woman to my left?
Yes.
Okay. What was your position at the doctor's office in February 2018?
A receptionist, front office.
Okay. And did Cardi B have an appointment that day?
Yes.
Was it a Saturday?
Yes.
Was there, to your knowledge, were there any other offices that were open that day?
No.
And do you remember the time of the appointment?
It was the end of, we purposely closed, so we had early day, maybe between 12 and 1, I'm assuming.
Okay. And what do you mean by purposefully closed?
For Cardi B. We
To
didn't want anyone there.
To maintain privacy?
Yes.
Okay. So, to your knowledge, How did you learn that there was an encounter between the two?
Well, I was waiting for Cardi B's arrival, and I heard commotion out in the hallway, and there was a door to exit right where I was sitting. So I opened the door and I looked, and I heard and saw the commotion, and that's how I learned that something was going on outside.
Could you please describe for the jury what you heard and saw when you opened the door?
I saw them in the corner, Cardi B's back to the wall, and just a lot of arguing and, just confrontation.
Okay. Do you recall anything that plaintiff Ms. Ellis said?
It was just very argumentative as far as, cursing and, just be this, be that. I don't know if I can curse, but.
So we've heard just about everything so far. So
Okay.
It's been one of those trials.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I immediately walked over there and got in between them and was like, whoa, my thing was I'm at work. So the first thing that really came out of my mouth is to Miss Ellis, just as far as, what are you doing? You're at work, go back to your post. And then I don't know how long it was, but I couldn't get her. I just wanted everything to go away. I just was trying to calm everything down, take Cardi B into the office, and I was trying to go. It was my sister's baby shower, so I was trying to get out of there. But I mean, that wasn't on my mind then. But just to calm the situation down and get her into the office.
How did Ms. Ellis respond?
I don't even know if she heard what I asked, because it was just more of just being upset and, no, I'm not going to do that, and just, them still exchanging words even with me in between.
Yeah. Was Ms. Ellis yelling at Cardi B?
I mean, it was pretty loud for me to hear. It was still the same volume from when I couldn't hear them while I was in the office down the hall. So I would say so.
Was Ms. Ellis cursing at Cardi B?
There was definitely curse words, yes, on her end.
When you were there, did Ms. Ellis attempt to strike Cardi B?
There was hands going while I was in the middle. I know no one landed, or I was, I didn't even realize, I guess because my adrenaline, that I had a mark on my forehead. So besides me getting a scratch, nobody, as far as them two, hit each other.
Who scratched you?
Based off of, like I said, I didn't know that I even got scratched until I went into the office, and the nurse was like, Tiara, your forehead. But I can only assume Cardi B was behind me, because that was my main concern.
Objection calls for speculation.
Oh,
So Cardi B was behind you, and you were facing who?
I was facing Miss Ellis.
And you got hit on your forehead and didn't even realize it at that point.
Yeah,
so
blood.
just let him finish the question.
Oh, sorry.
And so you got hit, you were facing Miss Ellis, and she was swinging away?
I can say there was definitely, people talk and like this type of action going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were hit on your forehead, which was facing Miss Ellis, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
After, just going back and forth, Dr. Finke came out. Once he came out, I believe, after that, I don't even really remember what was said, but I know I continued to take Cardi B into the office, to her exam room, and then I went back to the front.
Okay. Did you witness Dr. Finke try to get Miss Ellis to leave the hallway?
Yes, that's what kind of, since he came out and he was talking to her, that's what kind of distracted or, gave us the opportunity to just go into the office.
Okay. And do you recall anything that he said to her?
I think he was on the same temperature as me. Just, you're at work. Why are you up here? Go back, downstairs. And what are you doing? Type of energy.
Okay. And so you turned around and escorted Cardi B into the doctor's office?
Yes, I followed behind her to go to the exam room.
When you were face to face with Miss Ellis, I take it you could see her face?
Yes.
Did you see any scratches on her face?
No.
Did you see any cuts on her face?
No.
Did you see any blood on her face?
No.
Did you see any injury at all on her face?
No.
Did you see any spit or spittle on her face?
No.
Did anyone spit in that encounter?
Objection calls for speculation.
While you were there, ma'am.
While I was there, no.
Did you hear Miss Ellis yell at Cardi B, and excuse my language, "I will fuck your shit up"?
Something, something along those words.
At any point in time in that confrontation, did Cardi B hit Miss Ellis?
No.
At any point in that confrontation, did Cardi B cut Miss Ellis with Cardi's fingernails
Objection calls for speculation.
while you were there?
Over.
No.
Did you hear Cardi B use the N-word, excuse me, I apologize. Yeah, no, did you hear Cardi B use the N-word? You know what I mean by the N-word?
Yeah. No.
After this encounter and Cardi B had gotten into the doctor's office, at any point after that, did you talk to the building management about what had happened?
Yes. That was a Saturday. So Monday, my supervisor and Dr. Finke wanted to make a report since there was an incident and, the importance of making sure our patients, their privacy isn't compromised. So yeah, they asked me to go downstairs with them or with my supervisor and make a report.
After this incident, did plaintiff call you? Miss Ellis call you?
It was, yes, there was a call transferred to my line. It was her on the other end of the call.
How long after the incident? How long after February 24 of 2018?
Maybe, I can't recall exactly, but at least within, 3 months. It wasn't right after, but it wasn't too long after.
Can you tell us what the sum and substance of that conversation was?
Just kind of upset about what happened. She got fired. She couldn't believe that happened and wanted, I guess, to see if I can assist in any way since I was there. I pretty much replied as respectful as I could and just said, this is my place of work and I really can't have anything to do with this.
And was there any other thoughts that you had when she told you, did she tell you she was planning on suing Cardi B?
I don't remember word for word, but based off of our conversation, I assumed that was probably going to be one of her steps. But in my mind, I just was kind of shocked that she was calling based off of what took place. I figured, she was at fault, so that was surprising that she would call me.
Thank you. Those are all the questions I have for you.
All right. Prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Thank you all for coming back. Good morning,
Good morning.
Ms. Tiara Malcolm. When Miss Imani Ellis called you several months later and asked you to help her, what is the reason that you chose not to do so?
Well, main reason I didn't feel like she was in the right. I felt like based off of her position, working at the office, everything was handled unprofessionally, and going back and forth. No, she didn't work at our office, but clearly Cardi B was a patient going, she had a purpose at that building where she worked at. So I didn't feel, I don't know what I would help her with. I don't think if I told my truth it would help her. So.
Were you aware that Miss Ellis was a security guard at your building?
Yes.
Do you understand that the security guard is supposed to go from floor to floor to make sure everything is safe? Are you aware of that?
I don't know the rules.
I'm sorry, what was your objection?
Irrelevant.
Assisting.
Had you ever seen Miss Ellis on other days aside from the date of the incident? And I will represent to you the date of the incident for purposes of all my questions will be February 24th of 2018.
I believe that was the first day I seen her there.
Okay. When you saw her, when you got to work, did you see her anywhere in the building?
No.
What time did you get to work?
On a Saturday, maybe around 8.
8 a.m.? Okay. And had you ever spoken to Miss Ellis before the date of the incident?
No.
Is there any reason why, when you would go to work at the 8920 building, Wilshire Boulevard building, for how long had you been working there before the date of the incident?
For about
Overruled. Just move on.
for about 7 years, just about.
And during those 7 years, did you see other security guards in the building?
Actually relevant.
Assisting.
And when Miss Ellis's attorneys asked you to cooperate and sign a declaration, did you do that?
A form.
Not a form. Did you ever sign a declaration under penalty of perjury on August 26, 2025, which would be yesterday?
A declaration. Sorry, I'm not.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
Relevant to it?
Assisting.
Did you give permission to the other side to sign a declaration under penalty of perjury in this case?
From,
Objection, Your Honor.
Assisting.
Have you ever signed any document related to this incident?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant.
Assisting.
Did you make any type of formal complaint to the building about this incident?
Ambiguous as to form.
Overruled.
when my supervisor wanted to make a complaint, since I was there, yeah, that's when I went downstairs with my supervisor.
And who did you make a complaint to?
Douglas Emmett, the property management management that managed the building.
Okay. And what was your complaint? What did you say?
They just wanted me to tell them what happened and the concern of the privacy of our patients.
Are you a Cardi B fan?
I know her music. I guess I listen to her music. I listen to hip hop.
Okay. And you like her music, right?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Yes?
Yeah, she's
Have you-
talented.
All right. Have you ever gone to any of her concerts?
No.
Have you ever, well, I withdraw that. Okay. And for purposes of the visit on Saturday, the doctor's office decided to close to give her a special appearance to see the doctor, correct?
Objection. I manage it.
I withdraw the question. When Cardi B came to the office, the purpose of her coming to your office was to see Dr. Finke for medical care, correct?
Yes.
when you went outside into the hallway, the confrontation that you testified about was already occurring before you got there, correct?
Yes, that's what made me go outside.
All right. Do you know for about how long this confrontation was going on before you made your way outside?
I was sitting there waiting, so as soon as I heard the noise, it wasn't that seconds after was when I heard it, so I don't think it was going on that long.
Okay. Did Cardi B, while you were there, in any way touch Miss Ellis?
No.
Did Miss Ellis in any way touch Cardi B while you were there?
No.
When you got there, were they chest to chest? Were they touching chest to chest?
I couldn't really see Cardi B because she was kind of cornered with her back against the wall. I really just saw Miss Ellis in front of her, and that's what made me rush and get in between them.
Okay. And when you say you saw her back against the wall, how were you able to see her back from where you were standing?
Objection, mischaracterized.
Were you assuming that, I withdraw the question, were you assuming that Cardi B's back was up against the wall when you saw that?
No, I'm not assuming. I could see it because I literally looked down the hall when I opened the door.
And was Cardi B's back actually touching the wall or was close to the wall?
I don't know if it was touching her. It was close. I didn't.
And you know that this incident happened 7.5 years ago, correct?
Yes,
And
that's
you
why I
remember all
don't
these.
remember if her back was touching or
Right.
inches away. But
Yeah.
I know it was very close to the wall.
Right. And it was a very long time ago. So, how did you remember all these details? Did you write them down somewhere? Did you record it, or is this just off of memory from 7.5 years ago?
I just remember. There's certain things I remember when I was 4. I just remember because it was a confrontation, and I was sitting there ready to go because I had to drive all the way to Tarzana, and it was a story that I had to my sister coming back, like, you can't believe why I was late, type of story.
Right.
So.
And your purpose of coming here is to help Cardi B or help Miss Ellis?
My purpose is to tell the truth.
Of course.
That's my purpose.
And when Miss Ellis or her attorney tried to reach out to you, you refused to speak with them, correct? But when Cardi B's attorneys spoke to you and reached out to you, you talked to them immediately and you signed a declaration for them on the spot, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. This is Steve.
When you were there and you got in between the two of them, I want you to think of it like a hamburger bun. You're the hamburger and the two of them are the buns. How did you get in between them? Did you physically push them apart? Did they magically back up from one another? How did you get in between them? How?
Just like you said, it was 7 years ago. So I'm walking upset because of what I'm seeing.
Right.
And that's just how I am when I see I mean, it's not like I see it all the time, but seeing what was going on, I just immediately, that's just what I did. I didn't really think about, I didn't really have a plan. That's just what I did to try to calm it down.
Okay. And Miss Ellis, who's sitting to my left, you heard her cursing at Cardi B on the date of the incident?
Yes.
You actually heard profanity.
I actually heard profanity.
Many different ones.
Yes.
How do you know it wasn't Cardi B that was using the profanity?
They have 2 different voices.
Okay. Was Cardi B using any profanities on the date of the incident?
Yeah, she was upset.
Did she use profanities?
Profanity, yes.
F word.
Curse words.
Bitch, F you, all that, correct?
Yes.
And you don't really know what happened before you got there, correct? You have no way of knowing.
I wasn't there before I got there.
So if there was any physical contact, whether it was spitting, scratching, or cutting someone's face, you wouldn't know that because you weren't there during that time period before you got there, correct? Do you understand my question? Let me withdraw it. In the let's just call it the 40 to 50 seconds while there was a confrontation. I'll give you that estimated time, during the 40 to 50 minutes of seconds when they had their confrontation, you would have no way of knowing what happened during that duration of time because you weren't there. Is that fair?
Yeah, I wasn't there. I only heard.
No, anything could have happened, right?
Objection, false speculation.
Over.
Correct?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Imani Ellis could have hit Cardi
Okay,
B.
counsel, she wasn't there.
Okay,
so-
I withdraw it. When you saw Cardi B that day, you spent time with her, right? In your medical office, correct?
Not a lot of time, but I spent the time from taking her to her exam room, making sure she was okay, and once the last patient was checked in, I was out of there.
Okay. And how long did you spend with her?
Not that long, maybe a minute, if that.
When the patient
I
went
mean,
into-
when we went into the, just to make sure you're saying,
No.
when we went into the office, how long did I spend with her? Yeah, maybe,
15 minutes, half an hour?
no. I was still ready to go. Maybe a minute.
Did you notice that she was wearing, do you notice that she had fingernails? Did you look at her fingernails?
I don't remember that.
Did you notice that Cardi B had long fingernails on the date of the incident?
Objection, this characterizes the evidence and argument.
Sustained.
Did you see the size of Cardi B's fingernails on the date of the incident?
I don't remember her having or seeing her nails.
And have you ever seen her before? Does she wear long fingernails?
I don't know what she wears.
On the date of the incident, would you agree that because you did not look at her fingernails, you have no idea as to how long the fingernails were on the date of the incident?
Objection,
True?
false speculation, lacks no appreciation.
Sustained.
When you said that you saw arms flying, you also testified a moment ago that you weren't sure whose arms were flying, correct?
This characterizes testimony.
Overruled.
I believe I stated I was facing Miss Ellis. So Cardi B was behind me.
Right.
So I could only see the arms that were flying in front of me. I can't recall. She was behind me, so
Right.
I think I would have felt something behind me.
Okay. So if Cardi B had taken a swing, you would not be able to see that.
Most likely I would. Oh, sorry.
See, I'm not talking about feeling. Would you agree that because Cardi B was behind you, if she took a swing without touching your body, you would not be able to see that? True?
This characterizes the testimony and is false speculation.
Overruled.
I didn't see her hands flying on the side of me.
I understand that. But
Yeah.
again, I would like to know the answer to this question.
What was your question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Of course. So the question is, because you were facing Imani Ellis, you have no idea what Cardi B was doing at that moment, right?
Objection.
So if Cardi B was,
She was pretty much like the back of this chair. That's how close she was to me.
I understand
So
that.
I didn't feel anything or see any hands come from behind me.
understood. But if Cardi B took a swing, because you were not facing her and you were focusing on Imani Ellis, and you don't have eyes in the
No, I
back of your
didn't see
head,
her hands.
you would not be able to know what she was doing.
Right.
So if she took a swing, you wouldn't be able to know. Fair?
Okay, yeah. I didn't see it.
As far as what would you characterize the injury to your forehead?
A cut. It was just bleeding a little bit.
It was bleeding.
Yes.
Okay. How did that cut get there? I withdraw the question. Did that scratch or cut or anything get there at the time of this incident?
Yes, it definitely wasn't there before I went outside.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into this. There's only 3 options, and you could add more if you want, but I'm going to give you 3. The cut came from you, the cut came from Ellis, or the cut came from Cardi B. Or make up your own. Where did the cut come from? And if you don't know, you can say, I don't know. Do you know?
It definitely didn't come from me.
Okay, so that's out. You got 2 more.
And
Ellis and Cardi B. Or your
Cardi
own.
was behind me, so the only assumption that I had was it was from Miss Ellis because she was facing me.
Okay. But did you ever see Miss Ellis take her fingers or her hand or any other object and cause damage to your head? Did you ever see that?
I seen hands trying to reach over me, so like I said, the adrenaline and everything was going so fast. But being that she was in front of me and hands were going like this, that's the only realistic assumption I can have, is that that's why I got cut.
Okay. But you're assuming, correct?
Objection.
I think you're asking her to assume, counsel.
Are you assuming?
Your Honor, objection.
Yeah, why don't we move on?
How do you know that Cardi B's fingernail didn't cut your forehead?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Sistine,
She was behind
you
me.
don't need to answer.
Oh, sorry.
Did Dr. Finke see the cut to your forehead?
I believe so. His nurse is the one who pointed it out.
Did you receive any medical treatment for that cut?
No, I just put some alcohol, alcohol
All right. So
swab.
you agree that something physical happened when the three of you were there because you got cut to your face. Is that fair? Something physical happened.
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
If I got cut, I guess so. I don't.
Okay. So would you agree that there was a physical fight?
No.
So you just got cut from the air?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sistine,
Did Miss Imani Ellis have any fingernails?
I don't remember if she had fingernails.
Was Imani Ellis angry at the time of the incident?
Yes.
Was Cardi B angry at the time of the incident?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sistine,
And back to the hamburger question, did you at any point use your hands to separate the two of them, Imani Ellis and Cardi B?
No.
So did you just squeeze yourself in? How did you get in there?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sistine,
When you had the conversation with Miss Ellis on the phone, did you actually speak with her?
Yes.
You
On the
didn't?
phone. Yes.
Yeah. And let me ask you, when you were on the telephone, did she tell you anything, Miss Ellis, when she was talking to you that day?
From what I can remember, just being upset about what happened, her no longer being employed there, and I don't remember the word for word.
Okay. So she, Miss Ellis, was basically asking you to assist her in some way to be her witness, correct? That was the purpose of the call?
Objection, cause for speculation.
Sistine,
Purpose.
Did Miss Ellis's attorney contact you?
I don't remember that.
Did Miss Ellis ever come inside your office at any time between the date of the incident and today?
Objection, relevance.
Sistine,
Do you know if Miss Ellis spoke with Dr. Finke at any point?
Objection, relevance.
Sistine,
As far as your background, do you have any professional degrees?
I got my AA at West LA College. I'm a real estate agent. That's about it.
Good. And have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No.
And aside from Dr. Finke's office, Had you ever been? Were you working other places during that time period, or was that your main job?
That was my main job.
And at this time, you no longer work there, right?
No.
And on the date of the incident, because Cardi B was your patient, you felt that it was necessary to go outside to bring her inside to help her get inside for the medical appointment, correct?
Objection relevant, just ask an answer.
Sustained.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, you're right.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, any questions from the jury? Oh, you have one? Okay, great. All right, I think these questions are appropriate. Ma'am, when you did you actually close your office to maintain privacy for Cardi B?
Yes.
And when you do that, was it your custom and practice to also notify the building security?
I honestly don't know if that was done or not.
Did you normally do that, or were you? aware of
That wasn't my task. No.
Okay. Do you recall the N-word coming out of Cardi B's mouth?
No.
Can you describe Cardi B's emotional state during and after the incident?
Upset, emotional, worried about the reason why she was there. I don't know if I'm sure. But
You don't know the details?
no, I don't know if
Oh, in terms of the medical issues? I mean, it's
Yeah.
testimony is that she was there for a pregnancy checkup.
Yeah, so just concerned about that and being upset
Okay.
about her privacy.
Did you notice whether Miss Ellis had a phone or a camera during the incident?
She had a phone in her hand.
She did have a phone in her hand?
Yes.
All right. Those are the questions that I think are appropriate. Any follow-up from defense?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
All right. For plaintiff?
Yes, just one follow-up, Your Honor. The day when when you decided to close your office to have a medical appointment, that was a Saturday. Is your medical office usually open on Saturday?
Yes.
And you usually close around 1:30 or 2 or 3, or you go all day?
No, it's half the day. So usually, from what I can remember, the last patient was around noon or 11:45 noon, somewhere around there.
Isn't it true that Cardi B was the last patient of the day?
Yeah, she was the last patient. So we finished our morning and made sure she was the last one.
You
Just
work
right
on-
there.
I'm sorry. Do you work on Sundays as well?
No.
And the half a day on Saturdays when you're there, were you in charge of closing the office?
Your Honor, this is outside the scope of the questions.
Sustained.
No further questions.
All right. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Subject to recall.
Did you subpoena her?
No.
Then I don't think it's subject to recall. All right. And does plaintiff have another witness to call?
Yes, plaintiff calls defendant Cardi B as a hostile witness.
Thank you.
Ma'am, may I please have you stand right next to the court reporter? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
My name is Berkeley Marlene Saunders.
May I please have you spell it?
The whole thing?
First last name is second.
Okay. VELCALMANZAR.
Great, thank you. You may take a seat, please watch your step.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming back. Good afternoon, Ms. Almanzar. Do you prefer I call you Ms. Almanzar, Cardi B, or it doesn't matter?
I mean, y'all can call me Cardi B. Easy.
You feeling better today?
Maybe.
And I'll need you to speak up, man.
Yeah.
Hard to hear you.
Yeah, a little better.
Your birthday is October 11, 1992.
Yes.
You're left-handed.
Yes.
Are you the firstborn child?
To my mom.
Did you take any medication, drugs, or alcohol that would affect your ability to testify today?
No.
On the date of the incident, did you have black hair, blonde hair, or different color hair?
I quite don't remember. I do know I had a hoodie on.
Okay. Yesterday you had black hair, short hair. Today it's blonde and long. Which one is your real hair? Or are they both real?
They're wigs.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that. It's a good week today then. Do you have any affiliation at this time with a gang?
Objection, Your Honor. Motion limiting that violates the motion limiting the order.
Assistant Counsel, you go back.
Your fingernails, can you show them to us for all of us to see? How long are those fingernails? Just your best estimate. I don't want you to take a ruler to it, but if you were to give your estimate, is that half an inch, 1 inch, 2
I
inches?
think it has to be less than an inch.
And
Way less than an inch.
can you show them to us again? All right. Are they pointy?
These are not, to me, are not pointy. They're like circle, oval,
Okay. Are those your real nails or are they fake nails?
fake nails.
If I wanted you to change them to 3-inch nails,
Mhm.
how long would it take for you to do that right now?
Well, it really depends. Like these are like glued on, so they will be a little bit quicker. Sometimes I do acrylic, which could last me on for 2 weeks. I will literally have to take like 2 hours to melt them off if they're acrylically on.
On December 24th, 2018, do you remember going to 8920 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills?
December?
I'm sorry. February 24th of 2018. Do you remember going to 8920 Wilshire Boulevard?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at sir with a yes or no.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Do you know Dr. Aziz Olai?
who's in that building?
No.
Do you know Miss Parsi, who's in that building?
No.
Do you know Brianne Soraya, who's in that building?
No.
Who do you know in that building?
Well, at the time, I went to see Dr. Finke. I had an appointment with him that day. So that's who I went to see that day. Do I personally know him? No.
When you went to see him, were you seeing him as a friend or as a patient?
As a patient.
And when you went to see him, it was a Saturday, correct?
Yes.
And you filled out an intake form, and you signed some other documents that he would be your treating doctor, correct?
No, for that day, yes.
Yeah.
I don't live in LA. So.
I understand. You came all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, correct?
Jersey and Atlanta.
I understand. So when you went to see Dr. Finke on February 24th of 2018,
Mhm.
when you went to see him, you went to see him as a patient, correct?
Yes.
And you got medical treatment from him, whether it was for 1 minute or an hour or longer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How much time
Now,
did you...
you need to answer yes or no. Ma'am.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. How long did you spend with the doctor that day?
I'll say about 25 to 30 minutes. Around that time. Not that much.
And when you were there on that date with Dr. Finke,
Mhm.
Did he examine you?
Yes, he examined my baby for a little bit.
And what baby was that? What number?
Number 1.
Oh, that was the first child you ever had.
That's my first child, yes.
And you were 25 years old at the time.
Yes.
You're aware that plaintiff was the same age as you at the time?
No.
Assisting.
No.
Besides examination, what did Dr. Finke do for you? That
Objection. Assisting. We're not here for her medical care.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you keep Dr. Finke's... Well, strike that. Who referred you to Dr. Finke?
I asked somebody to find me like a very upscale private doctor. So I was like, I need to go to the doctor's like tomorrow. Like I feel so weird. And they were like, we're gonna find somebody. And that's just how it goes.
When you were outside in the hallway, before you entered Dr. Finke's office, did you see this individual, Imani Ellis, in the hallway?
She was waiting for, she was right in front. As soon as the door of the elevator opened, she was waiting, I guess, for the elevator. She was going inside the elevator.
And you were coming outside of the elevator?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time it was when this occurred?
About, I guess, like in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, around there. Yeah, 1 something.
Have you ever seen Dr. Finke either before or after February 24th of 2018?
No.
When you went to Dr. Finke's office, your security guard drove you there?
Yes.
And his name is Karan Newton?
He was my security guard. Yes.
Did you have more than one?
It depends, but he was just my main one, yes, at the time.
Did he go up with you to the medical appointment?
No, I didn't want him to know that I was going to an OBGYN. So,
You didn't want your security guard to know that?
no,
Why?
I don't. Well, first, I didn't want people to know that I was pregnant. Second, I was a little like, I don't want a guy that I work with to know I'm going to a vagina doctor.
Did you trust your security guard?
In certain ways, yes. In certain ways, no. I don't know. Sometimes you just really don't trust everybody in your business. You don't want everybody in your business.
Do you remember what floor you were on when you exited the elevator?
The 5th floor.
At any time did your security guard come into the building after learning about there being some kind of incident in the building?
He was waiting for me, like, not necessarily like inside. He was like waiting for me, like by the exit, like by the door, around there. Yeah.
Do you remember the building?
Yes.
Do you remember
Well,
the-
I kind of remember, but I do know that he was waiting for me by the door.
And you're talking about the lobby area where you
Yes.
take the stairs up?
Mm-hmm.
So
The
he was
lobby.
inside the building or right outside?
I don't really recall, but he was like, maybe it was in the inside, it was in the outside, but he wasn't like in, like deep in. He was like waiting for me by the door. And the door, he had it open for me to come out.
All right. So would you consider that your security guard was with you at the time, whether it was upstairs, downstairs? In your mind, would you agree that your security guard was with you at the building? Is that fair? Was your security guard with you in the lobby of the building at 8920 Wilshire Boulevard on February 24, 2018?
In the lobby, yes, when I was exiting. When I was
But
exiting.
He was in the lobby with you,
In the
right?
lobby. I can't say he was with me because we was leaving. He never went upstairs, so.
Do you know if your security guard, Karan Newton, spoke with Miss Ellis at any time that day?
He did not tell me he spoke to her at all.
Do you know if he did?
He told me he didn't. So I'm
Did
going to
you
go with
ask
his
him?
word. No, because I was like, I told him like what happened upstairs. He was like, damn, I should have went upstairs. But he never told me that he spoke or seen her. So I wouldn't know.
You came to this courthouse with another fine gentleman security guard, correct?
Yes.
And when you go to different places with your security guard, if an incident occurs where you're threatened or you're injured or anything happens,
Yes.
aren't they supposed to come help you?
Well,
Why don't we move on?
You don't have to answer. When the incident occurred, did you call your security guard or send him a text message or do anything to let your security guard who was with you know that something happened where you wanted his help?
Objection, argumentative as to with you.
I told him like, yo, you wouldn't even believe what just happened upstairs. And he was like, what happened? And I practically told him like, I'll tell you later, like when I leave. I'm like, wait for me. But I told him like, wait for me downstairs, like by the door. And that's what I told him.
If you were in any danger, would you call your security guard or would you call the police or would you call both? Or do nothing? Did you feel that you were in danger on February 24th, 2018 when you were upstairs on the 5th floor?
For like those 50 seconds, yeah. After I went to my appointment and like the argument just passed me, I didn't even mind it anymore.
Did your attorney show you a photograph of Dr. Finke to refresh your recollection as to who the doctor was that you saw on that date?
Yes.
And you had a different set of attorneys before, in 2022 and 2023. Did they do the same thing?
No, they didn't.
So, do you know what's discovery?
Yes.
What are form interrogatories?
Oh, honey, I don't know what that means.
What is special interrogatory?
I do not know.
What are requests for admissions? You don't know, right? Is that fair? You don't know.
No.
You do know?
No.
Okay. And when your attorney
responded to the written discovery on your behalf, did he or she show you the discovery responses? Did they email you a copy of it?
I mean, I will have to see what you're asking me.
I will show it to you. May I approach, Your Honor? You show her the discovery only? Sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
Could you identify it, please?
Yes. I will show it to you. So for identification purposes, it is form interrogatories, set 1, dated September 30th of 2022.
You're telling me that's what it is?
That's what it is? Okay. Just coming to show you this document. You can take a look at these pages. Did your attorney show you those documents at any time in your life?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. No. Well,
And I'm going to show you, with the court's permission, the responses which were drafted and served on January 17th of 2023. May I approach, Your Honor? All right. We'll show you these documents as well. So you can take a look at those documents. Do you ever remember receiving these documents from anyone, whether it was your attorney, the attorney's paralegal, a family member, anybody? Did they ever show you these documents when they responded on your behalf?
this one I saw. This one I saw.
Okay. You saw that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go over it with you. On the one that you're on the right, if you can look at 12.1. You see the question, 12.1? It would be, I believe, on the 6th or 7th page. And it will ask if there are any witnesses to this incident.
Yeah. Well, can you
There's not a question for you.
point it to me?
I'm sorry?
Point
Show
it
it
to
to you?
me. Yeah. Sure.
Can I approach, Your Honor?
All right.
It's on page 5, under 12.1.
Mm-hmm.
Did your attorney ask you if there were any witnesses to this incident?
Yes.
All right, we're going to avoid an attorney-client privilege conversation.
And relevance, Your Honor, this is the discovery issue that the subject.
Not a discovery issue, Your Honor. I'm asking her questions about if there's any witnesses, and it's for impeachment purposes. Okay, and if you look at the response, there's a response there in the 50-page document to your left. May I show it to her, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you identify by page and line? I'm not sure
Sure.
what it means by showing it.
I can show it to you first if you'd like.
I just, what do you,
I wanted her to talk about the response.
all right.
That's These are the questions. May I read the question when I go back to my seat? I will show you.
It's your direct counsel.
Thank you. So first, I want to ask you if this is your signature on page 47. Is that your signature?
It could be, because if it's like by electronic, that's how I sign. Like,
And the question that I showed you, 12.1, just say, you want to read it or you want me to read it to you?
you can read it.
State the name, address, and telephone number of each individual who witnessed the incident. This is A, subparagraph A. Or the events occurring immediately before or after the incident.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the question is.
Yes.
As you sit here today,
Yeah.
would you, is it your testimony that Dr. Finke is a witness to the incident?
Absolutely.
He is a witness.
Yes. She knows. She was there.
Is Dr. Finke outside speaking with you?
Outside where?
On February 24, 2018.
Outside like,
In the hallway.
yes.
He came out of his office?
Yes.
And your response in 12.1, this is what you responded with your attorney's assistance. So I won't hold you 100% at fault for it. But question,
Your Honor,
I withdraw.
assisting.
I apologize. The response is, responding party incorporates by reference the preliminary statement and general objections set forth above, subject to and without waiving the foregoing objections. Responding party responds as follows. Responding party may be contacted through defendant's counsel. Imani Ellis may be contacted through plaintiff's counsel. And then it says, unknown staff / employees at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, including at least 2 such persons who intervened during the incident. Discovery is continuing. Were you at Cedars-Sinai Hospital or Cedars-Sinai Medical Center when this incident occurred?
No.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, Dr. Finke works also for Cedars-Sinai, but we wasn't for Cedars-Sinai.
Is there any reason why your attorney or your prior attorney? Yes, Your Honor.
Count. We're not going to.
And at the time when you saw Dr. Finke, you knew his name at that time, correct?
I didn't know his name. And for a while, when I was getting asked by lawyers like his name and like the receptionist's name, I didn't know it because I saw him one time. So I kind of like just forgot about him.
But when your attorney asked you for the name for purposes of trial, then you did remember the name.
I didn't remember the name. I told him there was 2 witnesses, the receptionist and the doctor. I told him it was a doctor. My doctor came out at the time, the guy that checked me, and the receptionist. She knows. She was there. He was there.
Who knows?
The plaintiff. She knows.
How do you know she knows?
Because that's who separated. That's who separated and got in between us while we was verbally arguing.
Who got in between you?
The female receptionist, she came out first and she started like telling her like, "You're security, what are you doing?" And then that's when the doctor came out. He was like, "Go to my office." And that's when I just walked away, and that was the last of it.
Okay. And 12.1 question. 12.1 subparagraph D. State the name, address, and telephone number of each individual who you or anyone acting on your behalf claim has knowledge of the incident. You just testified that Karan Newton was downstairs in the lobby on the date of the incident. You also testified that you told him different things about the incident. What is the reason, this is the question, what is the reason you did not disclose Karan Newton's name in discovery?
Because he wasn't upstairs.
And wait for the objection. Is it a question?
First, this characterizes the testimony as compound. It's irrelevant to the merits of the case.
It's the same.
In written discovery, were you asked to provide the name of your security guard?
Your Honor,
Yeah, but why don't we, I don't know what you're trying to impeach her on, because she hasn't testified to anything yet. You're saying it's impeachment, but you're not impeaching anything.
Did you respond to special interrogatory set 1 through your attorney?
Your Honor,
All right, the court's going to sustain its own 352 objection. Why don't you move on?
Do you consider Karan Newton to be a witness in this case? Objection?
No,
Sustained. Counsel, I need you to move on. This case isn't about discovery. You might want to move on to what it is about.
Is Tierra Malcolm a witness to this case?
Counsel, please.
Do you know of who the witnesses are to
All
this
right, we're going to take a break, folks. Why don't we take a 10-minute break? We'll resume at 3:55. In the meantime, please do not discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors. Don't form any opinions or do any research. All right, and counsel, you want to resume your questioning?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Aside from Karan Newton, was there anybody else who drove with you to the building on February 24th of 2018?
no.
So now I want to take you a little bit through the incident, bring you back in time. Do you agree that an incident occurred on February 24th, 2018?
It was a verbal incident. Verbal.
But it was an incident, correct?
objection, relevance, ambiguous.
Oh,
I don't feel like, I personally feel like if there's no physical touch, there is no incident. There was a verbal altercation. If you think that that's an incident, a verbal altercation, then it's an incident for you. But we both have different opinions. It's a verbal altercation. She didn't hit me, I didn't hit her. There was no touch. So to me, it wasn't no incident.
Was there spitting?
Absolutely not.
Did you spit on Miss Ellis?
No.
Did you call her the N-word?
No.
What is your background? Are you Hispanic, white, something else?
My background?
Yes.
what's
Well,
the objection?
Of relevance. And
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself African American?
I consider myself Afro-Caribbean.
Ma'am, you need to give your attorney a second to object. What's your
Oh,
question?
sorry.
sorry. Relevance, Your Honor?
Sustained.
Have you ever used the N-word with Miss Amani Ellis?
No.
Did you try to take a swing at her?
No.
When you say there was a verbal altercation,
Yes.
do you know what the word altercation means?
Like a conflict.
Like a fight, right?
It was like a verbal fight, but it didn't get physical at all.
When I'm talking to you now, are we having a verbal altercation?
We having, I'll say, a debate.
And we're debating about whether you assaulted and battered Miss Amani Ellis, correct?
Just no, well, I guess so, but I didn't touch her. She didn't touch me, so
What proof do you have that you didn't touch her?
Objection, relevance, and also
It's already been sustained.
Do you have any videos of the incident?
no.
Did you try to get videos of the incident?
I asked if there was videos. Like I told my lawyers to check if there was videos, but there's no cameras. I guess there was no cameras.
And when did you ask for that? What year?
I feel like when I got sued, I was like, when I got sued, I was like, oh, I know I didn't touch her. Like it's like look for them cameras because they'll tell you I ain't touch her.
When you went to the building of 8920 Wilshire Boulevard, and you saw Amani Ellis there on the 5th floor, was she wearing her uniform as a security guard?
Yes. Okay.
You remember?
8920.
Again, you might want to just take a breath so your attorney can object.
Are you aware that my office is across the street?
No.
Okay. 8920 Wilshire Boulevard. You remember that number? You agree that that's the correct number? The address.
I remember that I went there, but I don't really remember the address and stuff like that. I don't.
If I show you the building with the number on it, would that help refresh your recollection?
Sure.
I don't have to really waste time if you don't want me to. When you were sitting here throughout the trial, you saw the 22
Yes.
pages I showed, correct?
Yes.
Was that the correct building?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember entering the building, going up some stairs, taking the lobby elevator, and going to the 5th floor, correct?
Yes.
And when you exited, you saw Amani Ellis right there in front of you.
Yes. No. When I exited the elevator,
Okay?
not the building, the elevator.
Correct.
Yes.
On the 5th floor.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 3 elevators there?
I do not remember that.
At least 2 different elevator bays?
I don't remember that. I just remember me getting out the elevator. She was coming in. I was coming out. I could hear her. She was talking on the phone, and she said, "Oh my God, yo, Cardi B's here." So I kind of speed walk. But I feel her behind me. Then I hear her talking like, "Oh my God, Cardi B is here." So I turn around, and she had her phone. She didn't have it here no more. Now she has it here. And I asked her, "Yo, why are you recording me?" And she clearly looked like the security. She looked like the security guard. She's uniformed down. And I'm like, "Why are you recording me? Are you security?" And she's like, "Oh, my bad." But then I'm walking, and I feel her still following me. So like as I'm walking, speed walking, trying to look for the office, I turn around again. And I'm like, "Why are you following me?" She's like, "'Cause I can." It's like, "No, you can't. Why are you following me for? Like, ain't you supposed to be security?" And she's like, "'Cause I can." It's like, "No, you can." And she's like getting closer and closer. Like now she's like in front of me where I can't even like really maneuver. And I'm like, "Ain't you supposed to be security? Like you grouped out, you recording me. Now you following me. Like back up." And she's like, "I can do what I want." It's like, "No, you can. Like you can't do what you want." And that's when we started arguing.
And what did you say?
I was like, "You can't do what you want. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like you invading my privacy." And now we're like chest to chest practically. So I keep telling her like, you need to back up. And I'm thinking to myself like, this girl's big. She's big. She got big black boots on. And I'm like, now she's literally right in my face, like on my chest, and we're arguing. And I keep telling her to back up, but she's not backing up. And we arguing, cursing at each other. I did call her the B word. I did call her a bitch. My face. I did. Get my face. You're in my face. You're screaming in my face. We're like literally we're literally screaming at each other. And she kept telling me like, "You're gonna leave my building." I'm like, "I'm not leaving. Like, how you harassing me? I'm not leaving. Like, how you telling me to leave? I came to see a doctor. You following me. You're recording me. I'm just trying to check my cat. You're recording me." And we're arguing. That's when the receptionist came out. She started wilding out like, "This hit me, and I'm like, I did not hit her. I'm looking at her like, "Girl, I can't even hit you if I want to. You're bigger than me and you're pregnant." And she just started wilding out like, "This hit me." Then the doctor came out and he was like, "Go to my office." And after that, I just walk away. And that's just that.
Are you aware in the city of Beverly Hills, if a security guard tells you to leave the building, which they are security of, you would be required to do that? Do you agree with that?
Objection, relevance.
A security not supposed to.
You don't need
Did Miss Imani Ellis tell you that you're causing a disturbance in the building?
No, she was causing a disturbance. She's recording me and following me.
Let's talk about that. Are people allowed to record you if they want to in a public place,
Objection.
which would be the building that you were at? Yes or
Objection,
no?
objection calls for a legal conclusion.
Sustained.
Mischaracterizes. Sorry.
Do you know if it's okay for someone to videotape you?
Objection calls for a legal conclusion.
Sustained.
When she videotaped you, or maybe she didn't, what proof do you have that she was videotaping you?
She had her phone went from here
Yeah.
to right here, and she said like, "Yo, Cardi B," like I seen her. I turned around and I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes.
Did you ever see the actual video recording of you on her phone? Yes or no?
No.
Could it be possible that she was recording you? She was simply holding her phone in front of you. Is that possible?
Objection.
Yes or no?
Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
What proof do you have that you were being recorded by Imani Ellis on February 24, 2018, aside from what you just told us?
Objection.
Do you have any other proof?
Objection has to be answered.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that you usually wear your nails longer than what they are today?
Sometimes, most of the times, yes, and some of the times, no.
Most of the time, 90% of the time?
Lately, as in so far, I'll say about in the past year, I'll say about 70.
70% of
Yes.
the time. And when you wear them long, would you agree that they're about 3 inches long?
No, not all the time. No,
2 inches or more?
So
it really
Councilman,
depends.
why don't we focus? She said in the last year. I don't know that how long she has her nails in the last year is relevant to anything.
And when you had them in 2018, you also wore them long at that time too, correct?
I wear them long, but it really depends on the inches.
How long were your nails on February 24th, 2018 when you were at the building speaking or arguing or whatever you were doing with Imani Ellis?
They were 1 inch. They were square, coffin squared, and they had flat rhinestones.
Are rhinestones sharp?
No, not if they're flat. And they were in 3D. They were flat.
With the nails you have on right now, do you think that these nails are sharper or the ones that you had on the date of the incident?
I believe that they were not sharp that day. They were square, and sometimes like when it's acrylic and it's square, it's like a texture. And I always tell this to my nail tech: make sure that like you shape, like when you shape them, don't make them sharp on the side, or don't make them that sharp, because I don't wanna.
You don't want to hurt anybody.
I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt nobody. I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm
And
gonna wash
in
my
the
dick.
past, when you had them sharp, you did hurt yourself, correct?
I never really hurt myself, but like just in case, I just be like, don't make them too pointy, because I just don't want them to be uncomfortable. Not pointy, but it's like a certain type of sharp that you just don't want.
And if you wanted to scratch or cut Miss Imani Ellis' face,
Hmm.
you could have done it with both of your hands, either one or both, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overall,
I'm not saying you did that right now. I'm asking you a different question. Did you understand my question?
I mean, how would I fight? How would I fight somebody? I am mostly left-handed, so if I was to like do anything mostly, I'll do it mostly with the left hand. I'm really like.
You're good at fighting with your left hand, aren't you?
Objection is characterized as the testimony.
Are you good at fighting with your left hand?
Objection lacks foundation.
sustained.
Do you have any experience fighting with any like martial arts experience or other type of experience to defend yourself should something occur in your life?
Objection, relevance.
Overall.
Not really, no.
So any type of fighting that you would be able to do, it would just be freestyle from your own knowledge of fighting, correct?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
If you wanted to fight with somebody, would you use your left hand, your right hand, or both?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained. Why don't we move on? That's
When you enter a building, such as this building or any building, oftentimes you will see that there's a security guard or a police officer or a sheriff guarding the building, correct? You saw that today here in the courthouse, didn't you?
Yes.
Bless you. Oh, I guess it's not. And on the date of the incident, the security guard, police officer, or person securing that building, in your mind, when you saw Imani Ellis was in fact Imani Ellis. In your mind, when you got off the elevator, Imani Ellis was in your mind, your state of mind was that she was a security guard, correct?
Objection.
I think she's answered.
Yes.
And was there any doubt in your mind that she was a security guard?
There was no doubt in my mind that she was a security guard. She had the security guard outfit on. That's why I was so confused that she was so aggressive and she's supposed to protect me, the patient.
I understand. If Imani Ellis had in fact told you to leave the building, would you have listened because she was a security guard?
Objection, this is complete hypothetical, irrelevant, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
Did Miss Imani Ellis tell you to leave the building at any point during your verbal or physical altercation on February 24th, 2018?
She told me, "You gonna leave my building. You gonna leave my building."
Okay. Are you aware that Imani Ellis was hired by the owner of that building and had the right to tell you to leave?
Objection, calls for legal conclusion, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
When Imani Ellis told you to leave the building, did you follow her commands?
Objection. Relevance, lacks foundation.
You can answer.
No, she wasn't acting like a security guard.
But she was a security guard.
Objection, he's arguing.
The security guard
So,
tried to
we're not
attack
gonna
patients.
argue. The objection is sustained. We're not going to argue with each other.
Did you believe in your mind that Imani Ellis was a police officer?
No.
If you thought she was a police officer, would you have handled the situation the same way?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical.
Sustained. Let's just focus on what did happen.
Now, when Imani Ellis spoke with you, when you exited the elevator, she spoke with you directly outside the elevator, the area directly outside the elevators, correct?
I don't believe she got inside the elevator. I don't believe she did.
That's my question is, did whatever happened between the two of you, did it happen inside the elevator, at the point of entry, or outside the elevator?
Outside the elevator and down the hallway.
Fine. And when Miss Ellis was asked the same question, do you remember her saying that it happened outside of the elevator as well? Do you agree with her testimony?
It wasn't in front of the elevator anymore because I was walking and she was following me. So it wasn't in front of the elevator. It was outside the elevator because I already got off the elevator. I don't think she ever went inside the elevator because I felt her as soon as I'm walking. I felt her walking right behind me, and then she said something. She said, "Oh my God, Cardi B!" That's when I turned around, and she got the camera right here, like she recorded me, and I'm like, "Yo, why you recording me?" And she practically did admit that she recorded me because she said, "Oh my bad." So.
And when she said, "Oh wow, it's Cardi B," or whatever you just said right now, when she said that,
Was that offensive to you?
It wasn't offensive. I just kept like power walking so I could like avoid more contact. But she just kept following me.
Okay. And isn't it true that sometimes when you're walking around, different people will say, "Oh wow, it's Cardi B,"
Yeah,
because they get excited.
yeah,
And you had experienced that many times before you had that experience with Imani Ellis, correct?
yes,
And the reason you didn't like it from her is because she was a security guard, and you felt it was unprofessional for her to say that to you. Is that true?
When she first said it, I didn't tell her nothing. I kept walking.
Why couldn't she say it? Why?
I never said she couldn't.
Overruled.
Okay. And she said it to you.
She said it to me, and I kept walking.
What if she was not a security guard, and she was just a random human, and said, "Oh wow, it's Cardi B"? Would you have taken offense to that?
Objection,
No, I-
argumentative.
Overruled.
You can answer.
I didn't even feel offended when she first said it. I felt offended when she kept following me. She recorded me, and you're supposed to be a security. You're not supposed to be recording patients going to any doctor, any.
But again,
That's what offended me. When she first said, "Oh my God, it's Cardi B," I just kept power walking. I didn't say nothing. I said something the second time she said it, and I turned around and I saw that she was recording me. And I'm like, "Yo, why are you recording me? Ain't you supposed to be security?" And she said, "Oh, my bad." Then she kept following me, and now I'm getting annoyed. Like, it's like, you're the security
hold on a
guard
question.
of the
No
building.
question pending. No question.
All right, counsel, I think that might be.
You testified yesterday that when you go to get your nails done, you tell your nail person to be careful not to make your nails too sharp. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Do you tell them that every time you go to get your nails done?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Did you tell your nail person that before you had your nails done, just before this incident?
I didn't have to because of the shape. So the shape that I had that week, it wasn't like a shape that is like harming. It was like a square coffin shape. So it didn't have like no points or like sharp edges and stuff like that. I mean, there's pictures of me of that week everywhere. So
Do you have a picture now with you? Do your attorneys have it?
yes,
The nails that you have on now, are they sharp and pointy?
I don't consider them that. No,
You consider them pointy.
no.
Can those nails that you have on now, can they become sharp to the point where they could cut somebody if you were to scratch them?
Relevance.
Sustained.
Did you see any skin or any blood underneath your fingernail after the incident? Any of your fingernails?
There was no physical incident for me to even see nothing like that.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying if you saw anything.
No,
Okay. Did any of your fingernails break after the incident?
no,
All 10 of them were in perfect condition?
yes,
When you went to see the doctor, Dr. Finke, did he look at your fingernails? Did he go over that with you?
no,
Did you even bring it up to him?
no. I just told him like, it's like, this is your security. This is your security.
Besides your chest-to-chest touching, did anything else touch?
No,
Okay. And you're a firstborn child?
to my mother, yes.
Okay. And you have other siblings, other brothers and sisters? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes, ma'am? Is that a yes?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. And as you testified yesterday that the baby in your stomach that was 4 months or 3 to 4 months old was your first child, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you've had other children, correct?
After, yes.
Your Honor, relevance.
Sustained.
Okay. Now, back to the words. I asked you yesterday if you used the N-word, if you called Miss Imani Ellis the N-word. You said you did not, correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay. But you've said that word before in your lifetime, correct?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Assisting.
And in your music, you actually say it many times, correct?
Objection,
Counsel,
relevance,
move on,
First
please.
Amendment.
Do you know what the word ghetto means?
Objection, Your Honor.
Assisting.
Relevance.
Did Miss Imani Ellis call you ghetto?
I don't remember.
If someone called you ghetto, would that make you angry?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Me?
Yeah.
If somebody calls me ghetto? It depends on how you're using it, but I don't really feel offended if you call me ghetto.
Did Imani Ellis tell you that you're stupid?
Your Honor, relevance.
I
Overruled.
really don't remember. She did. She was cursing at me though.
What were the words that she used?
You're gonna get the out of my building. You're gonna get the out of my building. I can do whatever I want. Then it's like when I was telling her, like, it's like, why you was recording me? She said, it's my phone. It's my phone. You're in my building. That's what she was telling me. And she was like, She also was saying, like, 'cause I don't give a who you are. I don't give a who you are.
Okay. And you remember her telling you that?
I remember that.
Those exact words?
Yes.
And did that make you angry?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. When you get angry, you black out and maybe not realize what happens next.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Assisting.
Do you know if you blacked out on the date of the incident? At any time?
Absolutely not. I could,
Sustained.
All right. And when you were yelling back and forth, and you were speaking and yelling and screaming, you were, correct?
excuse me?
You were yelling and screaming at each other,
Yes.
correct? And you're doing that. Did your spit come out of your mouth and go onto Imani Ellis?
I don't think so. No.
But it's possible, right?
Objection.
Because when you're speaking, sometimes you use many, many words, the spit comes out, correct?
Objection.
You agree with this?
I'm sorry, what's the objection?
Well, relevance, Your Honor.
Overruled.
You can answer.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think it'd be happening. I don't know.
Could it be that Miss Imani Ellis was not recording you with her phone?
Objection.
Is that a possibility?
Objection called for speculation.
Sustained.
Aside from what you've just told us now about the recording, is there anything else that you have? Any other testimony about how you know Miss Imani Ellis was recording you with her phone?
She told me when I told her, why you recording me, she said, oh, my bad. She practically apologized.
Did she apologize to you?
If you saying, oh, my bad, when I'm telling you why you're recording me, to me, that means you're recording me. And it's right there, right up. It's on my face.
Well,
Not on my face, literally on my face. I'm trying to be as detailed as possible, but she had it right here on her chest, like this.
and when Miss Imani Ellis told you to leave the building, you refused to leave, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, you were trespassing, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Where did you go? Did you leave the building? Did you go to your doctor's office? Where did you go next?
To my doctor's office.
And where did Miss Imani Ellis go?
I don't know.
Did she see you walk into the doctor's office?
Objection called for speculation.
Sustained.
Did you see Miss Imani Ellis when you walked into your doctor's office?
Did I saw her?
Right.
We was arguing? the receptionist came out. She got in between us. They were like, kind of like, she was like trying to calm her down. The doctor was already coming out, and he was like, go to my office. So I'm like, after that, I just went to his office and I never seen her again.
Okay. And when this, how long after, from the moment you saw Ms. Amanios, how long after did the doctor think he come out of his office? Was it in the middle, towards the end? Can you give us an estimate of time?
Can you repeat that a little better?
Sure. So, just for argument's sake, I'm going to estimate the time was 2 minutes. I'm not saying it was. It could have been half a minute. Just for argument. So during the 2 minutes that you and her were outside in the hallway, screaming at each other, whatever you were doing, for those 2 minutes, how long after the 2 minutes, or sorry, how long from the beginning of the 2 minutes to the end did Dr. Finke come in? So he could have came in at 59 seconds, 119 seconds, 1 second. Do you understand my question?
But it wasn't 2 minutes
Hold
though.
on, time out. Go ahead.
It wasn't.
I'll withdraw the question.
All right.
All right, let's do it again. How many seconds, I need to know this, how many seconds were you and Miss Amani Ellis in the hallway? Let's just pick a time. You pick it.
I'll say from like the beginning all the way to like walking down, it had to be like a minute or less.
Okay.
Like,
And you say walking down, you mean walking into Dr. Finke's office or leaving the building?
excuse me?
When you say walking down where?
Remember, I got off the elevator, so I'm walking, trying to find the room, the office. So in between that, that was like the minute there. Like I feel, I like the verbal dispute. It had to be like 20 seconds of that.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so at this point, both sides will be giving our closing argument, basically a summation of everything you've heard, just so you can jot down things, take notes if you feel comfortable. So you all heard all of the evidence in this case, and the distinction between a civil case and a criminal case are different. And what that means is, in a civil case, our proof, what has to be in the box, is greater than 50%. Touch more than 50%, maybe a featherweight more than 50%. 51%. It's not 100%. The standard is a little bit more than 50%. In this case, you've heard lots and lots of testimony. We've had the plaintiff who's testified. We've had the plaintiff's mother who's testified. We've had the plaintiff's grandmother who's testified. Those three witnesses explained their recollection about the scar. There was testimony that the scar, or the cut, came from this incident. That's a very, very important fact. There's really nothing to contradict that. If anything, our expert witness, Dr. Mulliken, you remember he came to court. He's a very well-respected doctor that specializes in plastic surgery. And his testimony was that, in his opinion, as an expert, that when the way that this scar, the way that this cut happened was from fingernails. And that there were 3 different scrapes, 3 different scratches. And that the middle one was the deepest one. And that's really the one that he worked on. Now, the issue in this case, well, before I go to that, is the photograph that you saw, okay, which is in evidence. There's a photograph of the scar, which is a 2-centimeter scar. The photograph, because of the skin color, it does not show well in photos. The cut that was on the face does not show up as well. So you may have to really look at it deeper than just had it been someone else. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is I really just don't understand. The defendant came here, used all of this foul language. This is a court of law. You cannot speak this way in a court. I have never seen this before. And for her to use all of those words, F word, B word, all these different words, it's a disrespect to us. It's a disrespect to the judge. It's disrespect to this courthouse. You cannot come to court and say these kind of words. It's just disrespectful. And just because Miss also known as Cardi B, is a celebrity, doesn't mean that she could just say and do whatever she wants and attack people. Okay? If you recall, just to give you a little bit of background about Miss Ellis. When she was 19 years old, she moved out of her house. She went to college. She's a college graduate. She has a bachelor's. She went on to become a security guard for 4 years, from 2014 to 2018. She did whatever she needed to do to become a licensed security guard, and she did that job. And when this incident happened in 2018, that was cut off. She lost her future in security work, in something further, whether it's FBI, police, attorney, whatever she wanted to do. This incident cut it off. No more. Because of the trauma that she sustained. And I get it. There were doctors who gave their opinions. For example, the defense brought Dr. Rosenberg. Nice guy, gentleman. He complimented me. Maybe he's doing that because he's a psychiatrist and he knows what to say to twist everything. But the point is, he got $40,000 to come here and basically tell us that the plaintiff didn't suffer any emotional injury. That's not the facts. The facts are, Imani Ellis was working as security guard. There was a change. Okay, it's very, very traumatic to be assaulted and battered. I can only imagine the embarrassment, the emotions, the pain that Miss Imani Ellis suffered. Now, in this case, there was overwhelming testimony that Miss Ellis was working as a security guard at the time of the incident. There's no question. She was in full uniform. She had a badge on. Even the defendant admitted, yes, I understood that this person was a security guard. And there has to be some level of respect. These are not doormen or doorwomen. The defendant, when she came to the building, instead of listening to the plaintiff, to listening to her commands, you got to do this, you got to do that, please leave the building, different commands were given to her, which none were followed. They were all ignored. Instead, the defendant thought that, Miss Ellis was on her phone. She was telling people that I'm here. These were the thoughts that were going through her head at the time, and she's testified to those. However, that's not the case. Miss Ellis testified that she's never had a fight before. She's never done anything to harm anybody. She's never had any fight with anybody. And her mother and her grandmother also testified. She's a model citizen. She's a hardworking person, and she simply, her whole goal of doing this, to be here and sit here and go through this, is so she could move on with her life. Sometimes people have to be heard. Be heard. So by you all being here and hearing everything that's gone on, you have given her a sense of closure where she can move on and go on to the next step and the next phase. She's only 32 years old, and she has plans. She has plans to do other things in her life. So we're very thankful that you gave us that opportunity. Each and every one of you, we're very thankful. The other thing I wanted to mention is the phone. It would be impossible for someone to be videotaping someone and be on a phone call at the same time. I tried it myself. And the error message that you would get if you tried it is recording video is not available while on a call. So it couldn't be. The two of them couldn't be done at the same time. Miss Ellis told Cardi B multiple times, I am not recording you. I am not telling anybody that you are here. I'm simply doing my job. And instead of maybe agreeing or investigating further, Miss Almanzar, Cardi B, got angry and started yelling and cursing and spitting on Miss Ellis and calling her different words, using the N-word to disrespect her, calling her the B word, calling her fat, anything to try to trigger her and make her upset and embarrass her. Sometimes words are more painful than the physical. And to add insult to injury, she then cut her face and caused a scar on her face. And what happened then? Miss Ellis had to go see different doctors. The court did read about Dr. Scher a sentence that basically that it's undisputed Dr. Scher died. And Miss Ellis basically testified that initially, a couple months after the incident, she saw Dr. McKenzie, a psychologist, through her workers' compensation. She was given that. She got 7 visits with that doctor. During that time, she also saw Dr. Scher, who was another plastic surgeon. Unfortunately, we don't have him here. We don't have his records because he passed away. So that's why that was read to you in open court, so that it's some sense of fairness. Why there's no records from Dr. Scher.
Objection, Your Honor.
Then we learned throughout the case that when Cardi B came to the building, she caused a disturbance. She caused a disturbance. She was yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs, going crazy, yelling and screaming, to the point where 2 other witnesses, Miss Malcolm, which was the secretary of the doctor, and Dr. David Finke, was so loud that those 2 people came out after about 40 to 50 seconds. Now, the issue with that is those 2 witnesses didn't see the 4 things that happened before that, which happened in the 40 to 50 seconds before. So yes, they're witnesses, but they're not witnesses to that first part, that first segment, which would include taking a swing at Miss Ellis, spitting on Miss Ellis, calling her the N-word, and ultimately cutting her face. None of that was seen by those 2 witnesses. So yeah, they're witnesses, but they're witnesses to the aftermath. They're witnesses to what happened afterwards. They're not eyewitnesses. They don't know what really happened. And when they arrived, Miss Ellis was so upset. Can you imagine all those 4 things happening? Being disrespected, embarrassed, who knows what else happened? All of that was done to her, and she still was able to contain herself to a certain degree. But yeah, sure. I mean, naturally, she was angry, she was emotional. So when these 2 witnesses come out of their offices, they can only see an angry person. They didn't see what led up to that. And they had assumed that it's her fault, maybe, or that she did something wrong. But again, those 2 witnesses didn't really see much. They saw something after the fact. And then you have Miss Malcolm, who decided on her own, this was her choice, to squeeze herself in between the 2 people. Well, that's a risk that she took. And if she somehow got a cut to her face or a scratch or something, well, we don't know who who did that. We really don't know. She didn't even know. Miss Malcolm testified that she did not know who scratched her face. She has no idea. What does that mean? It could be from either one. It could be from the commotion that's going on. These things happen so fast, we have no real idea as to what really happened. Unfortunately, there was no video camera there. There was no other witnesses that actually saw it. So it really comes down to one thing. Do you believe Miss Ellis? Why not? You should. She's a hard-working security guard. She was doing her job with no prior anything.
Assisting.
At some point during the trial, the defendant showed you Exhibit 232. If you all remember this photograph, Exhibit 232, this is a photograph. Now, the issue with this photograph is there's really no way to know the date that this photograph was taken. There's no way to know. We don't know when it was taken.
Objection. Overruled.
There is no proof of when this photograph was taken. It could have been taken at any time,
Objection. Mr.
before or after the incident.
Overruled.
It could have been, and in this case, the defendant testified that this photograph was taken on the date of the incident.
Objection, Your Honor. Overruled.
That was her testimony. But where's the proof? Do you really believe that a celebrity can't prove when this photograph was taken? She testified that this photograph was taken at the All-Star, NBA All-Star game. There's no proof of that anywhere. That's just false. There is proof of when this photograph was taken. It just wasn't given to us. It wasn't provided to us. So we can't rely on this photograph because there's no date on this photograph.
We're now joined by the members of our jury and alternate. And who is the foreperson? Do we have a foreperson? Number 3? And have you reached a verdict?
Yes.
Can you hand the verdict to the clerk, please? All right, can the clerk please read the verdict?
Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles, Imani Ellis, plaintiff, versus Vocales Marlenes Almanzar, Cardi B, does 1 through 50, inclusive defendant. Case number 20 STCV 07031. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Section A, assault and battery. Question 1. Did plaintiff Imani Ellis prove all of the following elements of battery? 1. Defendant Vocales Marlenes Almanzar, Ms. Almanzar, touched Ms. Ellis in the intent to harm or offend Ms. Ellis. Number 2. Ms. Ellis did not consent to being touched. Number 3. Ms. Ellis was harmed or offended by Ms. Almanzar's conduct. And 4. A reasonable person in Ms. Ellis' situation would have been offended by the touching. Answer, no. Question 2. Did Ms. Ellis prove all of the following elements of assault? Number 1, Ms. Almanzar's acted with the intent to cause harmful or offensive contact with Ms. Ellis. Number 2, Ms. Ellis reasonably believed that she was about to be touched in a harmful or an offensive manner. Number 3, Ms. Ellis did not consent to Ms. Almanzar's conduct. Number 4, Ms. Ellis was harmed. And number 5, Ms. Almanzar's conduct was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis's harm. Answer, no. Section B, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Question 5, did Ms. Ellis prove all of the following elements of intentional infliction of emotional distress? 1, Ms. Almanzar engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct beyond mere insults, threats, indignities, annoyances, hurt feelings, or other trivialities that a reasonable person is expected to endure. 2, Ms. Almanzar intended to cause Ms. Ellis emotional distress. Number 3, Ms. Ellis suffered severe emotional distress. And number 4, Ms. Almanzar's extreme and outrageous conduct was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis to suffer severe emotional distress. Answer, no. Section C, negligence and contributory negligence. Number 8, did Ms. Ellis prove all of the following elements of negligence? Number 1, Ms. Almanzar was negligent. Number 2, Ms. Almanzar's negligence caused Ms. Ellis to suffer physical harm rather than only emotional distress. And 3, Ms. Almanzar's negligence was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis's harm. Answer, no. Section D, punitive damages. Question 12, did you answer question 4 and 7? Answer, no. Signed this date, September 2nd, 2025, by foreperson George Uloa, number 3.
All right, is it in Mr. Chipolodry?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let me ask the foreman, was it unanimous as to all the questions?
Yes.
All right, so the question that the clerk is going to be asking is, was it unanimous as to all questions?
Question 1.
Or just all questions?
No, as to all questions?
Was it unanimous?
Was it unanimous?
Yes.
And go through each of the jurors. Was it unanimous?
Was it unanimous, juror number 1? Yes. Number 2?
Yes.
Number 3?
Yes.
Number 4?
Yes.
Number 5?
Yes.
Number 6?
Yes.
Number 7?
Yes.
Number 8?
Yes.
Number 9?
Yes.
Number 10?
Yes.
11?
Yes.
And 12.
Yes.
All right, sounds like it was unanimous verdict as to all questions. Can the clerk please record the verdicts?
The verdict has been recorded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and dedication to this case. I know that you've paid a great deal of attention throughout the matter, which was especially evidenced by the questions that you did submit. I want to thank you for that time and attention on behalf of myself, the parties, the court system, as well as the people of California. As I indicated before, this system does not work unless people like you are able and willing to serve, and so I want to thank you once again. Throughout the trial, I have admonished you that you could not discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors, and at this point in time, I am relieving you from the admonition. You can speak with anyone about the case from this time forward. I suspect that there's going to be not only the parties that will want to speak with you, but I suspect also the members of the press are going to want to speak with you. And so I'm going to tell you this. I'm telling the members of the media this, and I'm telling the parties and their assistants that it's up to you whether or not you want to speak with anyone. If you don't want to speak with anyone, then you can just head right out the double doors, out the elevators. If there's press outside that want to speak with you, you can just walk past them. Don't let them stop you. If you do want to speak with them, then go ahead and you can wait outside the double doors. We're not going to be speaking with anyone in the courtroom. And if you do speak with someone, please be respectful of the views of any of your other jurors in terms of the deliberations. You can speak with respect to your point of view and how you saw the case. And the other admonition or the other issue with respect to speaking with people is that it's got to be at a reasonable time and place. And so if people start bothering you, or if people reach out to you that's inconvenient for you and they continue to do so, let me know and I'll take care of it, okay? All right. All right, with that, once again, I want to thank you. You are now dismissed. Yeah, leave your...